Kara Swisher is widely considered the most powerful and plugged-in reporter in the world of big tech.
Kara Swisher knows Silicon Valley as well as anyone.
My source tonight is the veteran tech insider, Kara Swisher, the host of the podcast On with Kara Swisher and Pivot.
Who do you consider your competitors?
You tend to go wrong by focusing too much on competition.
We want to dominate the great next global industry.
Do you feel like it's a backlash, or do you feel like you're violating people's privacy?
What do you do all day?
Most people think not enough.
There is no better expert, so I got to go to you on this.
You've been following how these tech companies deal with misinformation, disinformation, conspiracy theories, and you've seen the struggle.
If we want innovation in the future in AI, in robotics, in advanced medical stuff, we have to have a robust pipeline of talent from across the globe.
This is What Now with Trevor Noah.
The end of this podcast, you would have
We're gonna
taught me
take
a
a
thing or
selfie.
two. Her pictures are amazing.
He was
What do you mean,
like, where
the
did
composition
you...
and
no,
everything.
No, he said, where did you learn how to do selfies? And actually, Kim Kardashian taught
No, are you being
I
serious?
didn't expect that.
serious.
Wait.
I showed you. I showed this.
But not. Yes, but show
She
him
showed-
what he.
okay.
What she taught
so
you.
she was teaching me
Yes.
duck face.
Okay.
In that time we were together. So she's like, here's how you do it. And she showed me, she has a light, this Lumi light around her camera.
front case.
It's right there. That's how the picture looked.
Kim Kardashian taught you how to take selfies.
Yeah.
But your day to day.
She's good at it.
No, I mean,
Please show him.
I'm assuming
please show
that
him
she's
your
brilliant at
day-to-day
it.
pictures of family.
Oh,
Those are.
all right.
oh.
Okay. All right.
Every time I've tried to take a phone, it looks like I'm using a Nokia 3210.
Let's see.
And that phone did not have a camera, so
That's
you can
what I
only.
was about to say. I was like, I don't know why that image was even better for me because the Nokia 3210 doesn't have a camera.
Exactly.
Well, why are you using it?
My pictures look like there's someone with a sketch pad, and
Oh, man.
All right.
you are so good at pictures.
That's all four of them with their babysitter,
You're
both
not-
the
you're
same.
not- You know, I didn't know what to expect, but you're not wrong.
No, there they are.
Yeah, the composition,
That's them.
the lighting,
Looking
the
like a
picture.
pile.
But where you're
Pile.
standing at
Pig pile. See? They love doing that. But we just put a sheet up behind us and took the sheet.
And then you
made
just
of-
jumped in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think the cameras are actually getting
They're
better
so
on the
good. The
phones?
new camera on the new iPhone.
Do you leave your phone portrait unlocked or locked?
I let it decide
You'd let it
whatever it's going to
turn.
do. Yeah, these are amazing computers. They're astonishing.
No, I'm just always intrigued by which people keep it locked or keep it unlocked.
Unlocked. Because if I
do you
want to
keep
watch
yours-
something.
So if you turn it sideways, does it turn?
Yes. Lock it.
I've just explained to you now
Do you
that
do you
the
know what
pictures
I'm,
that I take.
do you know what I'm talking about?
No, he doesn't.
Eugene is the perfect person to have this conversation with us because
Yeah.
he's like a mega Luddite, but
Okay,
without trying
right
to
here,
be.
there's a thing called the lock screen on
Yes,
this.
yes.
You lock it, and it doesn't. When you do that, it doesn't do it. You unlock it, and then if you're watching a movie or something on YouTube,
Yeah.
Let's do everything in real time.
except you're in.
Is it unlocked?
It is now unlocked. Now it's locked. Yeah, there you go. There, it's
Must I
unlocked.
keep it unlocked?
Keep it unlocked in case you're watching. Like
If you want to turn your screen,
Then it just.
but
goes,
I don't like my screen turning when I turn the screen.
oh, okay, all right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm very intentional about those moments. So sometimes what I don't like is it will turn when I'm
By
not
itself.
trying to turn.
That's right. That's right.
I just want to look at my phone from a different angle.
Oh yes. Then you should lock it.
Oh,
then,
sometimes
you know?
you're just minding your business, going and then it goes.
Yeah, and then it turns. I don't
Yeah.
like that. So I'm like,
Right.
don't turn for
Don't
me.
turn.
I will
Don't
tell you
turn.
when it's time to turn. Plus, a lot of the apps that have come out now, they auto rotate when you go into like a full screen.
That's
mode.
right. They do. They can.
So I feel like it's
You feel like your free will is taken.
this is exactly
This
what
is-
I'm.
So would you say
This is
I must-
autocracy, really.
Yeah.
If you really want to get into
This
it.
is my true challenge in
yes,
life.
Yeah.
So I must keep it.
No, you do what you want. See what your vibe is, but at least now you know because Kara Swisher has told. By the way,
Yeah.
welcome to the podcast, and
Thank you.
more importantly, happy birthday.
It's not my birthday.
Yeah, I feel like it's never your birthday.
No, it's never. I put birthdays all over the internet,
Yes.
so nobody knows my birthday.
Yeah, but then I feel like,
Every day is
I
my-
should say happy birthday to you.
Every month is my birthday.
You know, when I read this about you, I was like, this is one of the craziest things and most amazing things I've ever. When did you start doing this?
In 1993, 1992, 3.
You put up your first fake birthday.
No, I did that later. After I realized what was happening with the privacy stuff, which was relatively soon. I just kept telling different things. There's a correct birthday up there. They've found the real birthday. So
But you just keep.
I just change it and tell people different things, and I put it up in places. I'll change it at different places just because I don't want people to necessarily know my birthday. Because I was really worried about privacy from the get-go.
Yeah.
When AOL started, I started covering AOL in the 90s, and that was the first, iteration of where we are today. Popular one. There were others. There were all kinds of message boards and things like that, but it was real complicated, and it was not easy to use. And so AOL was the first commercial interpretation of what we see today, and that wasn't even the internet. That was a service that was then attached to the internet. That was, it was not the internet. It was like a walled garden approach. And the minute I saw what AOL was doing, I realized they were scraping and stealing information so they could take advantage of you and sell advertising.
You knew this in 1993?
Yeah. I mean, it was obvious what they were doing. What did they need all this information? Why were advertising come back that were based on my searches and stuff? And then when Google was there, I got it right away. You understood what although initially Google's business model was not advertising. They didn't have one, actually. They came upon advertising.
I remember using AOL, and I don't know what it was like in America, but in South Africa, we didn't really have these services full on. So we would get a CD, a disc.
Everybody did.
Oh, that was the same?
Yes, everybody. That was their method of marketing.
Yeah, and I could only access it for it was 30 minutes. Each disc gave me 30 minutes.
Yes, to try it out.
And then but in my world, I didn't know when the next disc would come. So I'd go on these little chat rooms and I'd make friends on these chat sites. And I remember it was age, sex, location, ASL. And you type that in, and then I would go, age, male, and location, South Africa. Then people would be like, you're lying. That was the first thing everyone said. You're lying.
Yeah.
There's no internet in Africa.
Ah, yes, there is. Well, there's not as much, I'll tell you that.
Yes, but they were like, there's no internet in Africa. And then I would say, sort of like your birthday thing, I would go, well, I'm the prince of my village, and I have the one computer. And you know what's crazy? That's when they accepted it. They're like,
you're not a prince?
They're like, that makes sense.
The prince of...
that makes sense. Welcome to the internet.
It's interesting you said that about Africa, because in the early days, Google had this amazing visualization when you entered the company. It was a small company at the time. And it would show a globe where all the information requests were coming from. And it was different colors based on language. And so it was sort of a light visualization. So it would show the amount of questions being asked around the world. And it would be like beams of light, almost like skyscrapers, right? And you'd see New York, big skyscraper, and lots of languages. And you'd spin around to Europe, and there'd be a lot with lots of, like Germany had German, French, whatever they were speaking. And you'd see lots of light. And you would spin around to different... Asia was just bright because they were using internet. And because the cables that went across the seas were linking all these countries, right? Africa had almost no light coming off of it. It was, and I remember turning to Sergey or Larry. I can't ever tell them apart at this point. And I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "They're not asking questions." I said, "No, they're not allowed to ask questions because they don't have access. They have questions." So this whole asking questions is about modernity. When you ask questions, and they weren't. This one continent was not able to ask questions because they didn't have the fiber laid. But when wireless showed up, it grew really fast because then, whether it's be satellite or whatever it happens to be, fiber is a problem ultimately. So when wireless happened, it changed.
Yeah, like the physical infrastructure in most developing nations is the hardest thing to get going.
Yeah.
But that's why wireless became the revolution.
Yes.
So in South Africa, and I think many parts of Southern Africa and India, we actually leapfrogged the United States.
You did.
In our connectivity and speed. Like I remember visiting America and 3G wasn't a thing here. And people were still on like old CDMA technology, like a GPRS.
That's for another reason, because the companies didn't want to modernize. And so, one of the things we did, and I did an interview at the time, the head of the FCC, and the U.S. had the most expensive internet access and the least fast. So I was like, so we're getting shitty service for the most expensive price. And it was because of the way these things were monopolies. And they didn't, the cable barons didn't owned a certain section, and whether they decided to modernize or not was when things got modernized. And so there was no competition, and they tried to keep satellite out. They tried to keep all kinds of things out in the United States because we let these corporations rule the roost, as we always do. And that's why it was so slow to get here. Competition is what everything is about in general.
There's two things you've said that just sparked like sort of how we should be looking at tech even through today's lens. The first one was when you said you're at Google, you're talking to the two people who've started Google.
Right.
They have a device that tracks where people are asking questions from in the world. They see no questions from Africa and they're like, man, these Africans aren't asking questions.
Well, that was their first thing. And also what they also had
but what I'm saying to that point, so and I want to hear what you're going to say after that, but it's wild to me that the people who are like sort of seen as shaping the world and the most intelligent weren't intelligent enough to come to the conclusion
I
you
don't
came
think they're
to.
the most intelligent. I don't.
Yeah, but that's how they're seen, is what I mean.
Well, of course, because we have to make these people into gods, right? They're magicians or gods. They're not gods. They're just people, and very broken people. Many of them. I mean, look at Elon Musk from your country, and
Wow, Kara, wow, damn, the way she just threw that at us from your country. That was so slick.
He's a proud immigrant.
That was
He
such
just
a
happens
slick.
to be.
She threw a ninja star at us. And look at Elon Musk, that crazy bastard from your country.
But he was I meant that as a compliment. He was an export into this country, and
we'll take that.
Good for us for letting him in. That was
Okay.
great.
All right.
You know, maybe not today, but yes, for a while for sure. Yeah, he should. Well, he should go to Mars. Let's just be clear. Let's send him to Mars. Let's move him to another.
I sometimes think he's just trying to get home.
Oh, to Mars, yeah.
Like, what if we found out that Elon Musk was an alien who's always just been trying to go home?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the most shocking thing when
No,
you think about it.
you're right.
You look at his mannerisms, the way he jumps, his vibe, the way he doesn't like really understand human empathy the same way.
Yeah.
What if the guy's just trying to go home?
So he's a trapped alien who's trying to get home.
Yes,
Yeah, there's
because
been
you can't
movies
tell us
like
he's an
that.
alien.
There's been movies like that. Remember where they're like,
Men in
Oh,
Black.
very well done. Yeah, well done.
Like if you were an alien who was trapped on Earth and you knew you had advanced technology.
So he's the only one here
Yes.
of his
Well,
kind.
You have super advanced technology.
Yeah.
How you're not going to come out and tell humans I'm an alien. You know what we do to you.
Right.
You know.
I think the
so
Dissect you, obviously.
Exactly.
The bigger question should be, why did they send him here?
No, but
Maybe
they
he got
said they
stuck.
sent him.
Maybe he got stuck.
I like
Maybe
this.
He got lost?
Yeah.
Maybe he got lost.
Maybe his spaceship broke
his
down.
pod.
And
pod.
where is it?
What do you
It
mean?
fell in the sea.
Also, he was in the sea and then he swam.
Yeah,
to South
because
Africa.
he's an
got, like,
alien,
stuck.
so he's got
Yeah.
fish-like
And how do you explain his
tendencies.
racist dad?
Oof, that's a tough one.
He buys sperm.
Maybe it's like Clark Kent Superman. Maybe his dad like found his pod and then has just been raising him.
So he
Yeah.
was out fishing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden there was a floating.
Yeah. And then he raised him. And he was
And
like,
then he
"Listen,
gave him a meat suit.
you go.
Suit. Yeah.
Ah. But what was he before? Was he like a
We don't
weird
know.
blob?
We don't
a
know.
Square
Wow.
tank?
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Until we get to Mars, we'll never know Elon's true form.
Well, we actually know what people look like on Mars. If they actually today, interestingly, you're talking about they found some bio on Mars. It was a speckled rock, and
Wait,
it has.
what?
They found something that's akin to life there. It's not a person, but it's a. I think it feels like it's almost like lichen or something on this rock. It's a speckled rock with bio material. That's what
On
they're
it.
calling it. On it, yeah. So that life does exist. Well, water exists there. Lots of stuff exists there. So there's a possibility of further life. That said, interestingly, I just interviewed an astrobiologist and physicist, and he was noting he wrote a book called, his name's Adam Becker, wrote More Everything Forever, which is the sort of motto of tech people, which is not, you can't have more everything forever, right? But they think that. And so he was blowing up the Mars idea because Mars they've got gravity issues, they've got massive radiation issues. It's constantly hit by comets and asteroids and stuff like that. And so he was like, literally, the worst day on Earth is better than the best day on Mars. Like, because you have to live below ground, like deep into the ground. You have to protect yourself from radiation. Your bones get I think more brittle. I'm not sure what happens, but you get shorter is what happens. And you get stupider, and you get stupider when you're there. And so you do become, these depictions of Martians as sort of mole people. It's actually kind of accurate. That's what would happen to humans there.
That could be us.
Right.
This is sometimes where I think of like,
Also,
like the
it's
sci-fi
freezing
stories.
cold and hot too.
Yeah, I
At
think
the same time?
Different time.
Alternately.
No, on the same day. Like
it just like goes, it oscillates between.
It oscillates, yeah, and you age really quickly, which is another thing. So there's no reason to want to go there.
Yeah, at all. You didn't sell it well.
what is their obsession with it?
Because you can get to it.
Closest.
No, but I mean, like, I wonder if you've garnered an insight. Going back to what we were talking about, these men are seen in today's world, at least, they're seen as like demigods. I've talked to people who genuinely believe that you should never ever question Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos.
Not anymore. Not anymore. That's changed recently.
Slowly. Yeah.
I don't know. I think their brand is not great these days. I mean, Elon's brand was quite high, and now I think he was the most hated person in America recently.
This
over
was
Trump.
in
a poll, one of these polls. I was surprised. I was like, not Trump. It's him. It's actually
Elon
Musk. Yeah.
Because he went against Trump. That was his mistake.
No, that's not why. That's not why. It was declined. It was already because he acts like an asshole. Like, and he showed himself. He showed his ass. I mean, that's what he did. He showed his ass. And I think you noticed, wow, he's a little strange. Wow, he's cutting without indiscriminately. Wow, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He kept showing his ass. And you were like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, he is an ass.
And just jumping up and down, tweeting things about how we need more white people on the planet, and et cetera. You start to be like sort of repelled by it. And you look at the brand. Look. I don't have to prove it. I don't think it's just because people don't like him that Tesla's sales have plummeted. I think that's part of it. Other party doesn't have a car anybody wants anymore, and there's lots of competition. China is tracking him all across the globe. BYD making great innovative cars all across the globe. In this country, a whole bunch of car makers have great Rivian, or Ford has some great cars. Everybody's now competing, and Tesla hasn't innovated in a very long time, except for the Cybertruck, which, as you know, is the ugliest car in existence, and it hasn't been able to sell very many, except for men of problematic penis size. So, maybe a woman or two.
How do we as society avoid men of problematic penis sizes? Well, because you're a parent of
three men. Yes, two young men and one boy. Yes. I don't know. I think it's really, I think it's been with us forever. That's not a new, fresh insight.
Yeah, you know what? I actually think we are in a cycle. Like it's a loop of life.
Mm-hmm.
We often forget that tech was the domain of the nerd, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I know when I was burning CDs, like when I had my first CD-ROM, my first CD writer, my modem, when I was building my own little rig, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was in that world, I can tell you now that world did not brush up against anything cool or sexual.
Yes, no,
okay?
not at all.
None of that.
Yeah. Fast forward to today.
There was no world where I could say to you, my PCI slot got me closer to that woman. No, never happened.
A lot of things are making sense about you now.
A
lot. And I'm glad you're opening up about this, because there's times where I have questions.
You just had them answered when he said PCI slot.
Up against PCI slot.
I know. Yeah.
It was a complete.
He was trying to make a sexual reference, but it didn't work.
No, I wasn't at all. Genuinely.
See,
I promise you, I wasn't.
I wish you was.
We heard it.
I wish you was.
I'm teasing you.
No, genuinely. But I mean, like, it just wasn't.
There's a lot of tech words that are very sexual, though.
I've never even thought of them in that way.
Put the floppy disk in.
Wow. Okay, I would go with a stiffy, but
stiffy, right? Yeah. Hard drive.
Yes.
There's all kinds of stuff like that.
Yes, there are. So when I think of that world, right, there was a community that we would form as nerds where we, the bullies beat us up. It was just not the cool space to be in, right? Then money comes into it. It becomes money. It becomes the force that changes the world. And then what we forget is this is an entire generation of nerds who were bullied, who were always on the outside.
That's part of it.
And now society has just told them that they're the coolest people, but they didn't sort of
I don't think they've ever been the coolest. I think you're going.
No, but I'm saying
society. Society, it likes money.
Yes.
And money.
Yes, but that's what I mean.
Attractive.
But that's what I mean.
And without the money, they would remain uncool.
And the power, yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And even now, the way, like, for example, that dinner they all had, it was embarrassing to them.
Oh, yeah, the dinner at the White House.
Yeah, it was. I was like, you're the richest people in the world, and you have to suck this guy's, whatever.
PCI slots.
Yes, PCI. It was really quite something to see. It's like, what's the point of being the richest people in the world if this is what you have to do? Aren't you exempt from that? But they're not. And so I don't think they look very cool. I thought they looked kind of like toadies, pathetic toadies. But that's
Don't
just
you think
me.
maybe that's the side effect of being bullied as a young person until
Not all of them were.
you just want to be with a cool guy. Doesn't Trump
No, not
look
all
like
of
a
them.
cool
Mark
guy
Cuban's
now?
pretty cool. He's pretty cool. He's always been cool, I think, for example. Mark Cuban.
Was he like tech nerd in that
He
way?
he's a tech nerd.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's just a different kind. I think, Mark Zuckerberg is kind of classic, but actually he was pretty popular in high school, from what I understand. He was not bullied. And it just depends. I think that, it's because it's formed by Hollywood, like Revenge of the Nerds and all those movies. And I think, as tech became so important to all our lives, we began to recognize the importance of these characters in making us understanding it and inventing it. But back in the day, Edison was a hero. All those people, all those inventors, Franklin, they were all heroes. So I think we've always loved the inventor. I think that's not a new thing. But you're right, there were these images of, like Bill Gates, for example, sort of was the quintessential nerd, right?
But that image is, when you talk about, I love that you say the word inventors, because I watch every single Apple event.
They just had one, yeah.
Every WWDC, every new launch, I'll watch the Pixel events. I watch the Google this. I watch them all. And I don't know if I'm the only one, but I feel like over the past few years, I felt like it's less a club of inventors now.
Oh, yeah, than marketers.
Yeah, it feels more like it's marketing and extraction. It doesn't feel like when you say these things, Edison, I go, yeah, but look at what Edison was trying to do.
Yes.
Graham Bell, look what Graham Bell was trying, look what Tesla, the man was trying to do. None of these people were trying to think of a way for you to get your food 15 minutes faster than you were getting it before.
Right.
That's not an invention, in my opinion.
Well, it was interesting because at one point in some of it was inventions, absolutely. And Steve Jobs sort of personified that, although he wasn't a technical person, he was good at marketing and he was good at being visionary of what it should be. And he had enough technical expertise to spur inventors to make what his vision was. But at one point during the internet age, it got so, I guess, fucked up that someone came to me with digital dry cleaning service. I was like, this is not innovation. This is just...
What do you mean a digital dry
You just ordered on an app. That's all. It was just an app and it was still dry clean. I'm like, are you going to dry clean it digitally? Or because that would be cool. But one of the things that someone said to me at the time, and I agree with it, was at one point Silicon Valley became really smart people doing really small things. And that's what it felt like.
Really
that's why
smart
Elon was
people.
so interesting, I have to say, and I spent a lot of time with him, was because, he was talking about cars, he was talking about space, he was talking about Neuralink, he was talking about tunneling and Hyperloop. Whatever you think of those things and whether they work or not, they were big ideas.
They were,
And so smart people working on small ideas is really quite deflating in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of it is that, right? And Steve Jobs was perfect at making you see the vision of where it was going because, this phone, even though they just released the skinny one. I don't know if you saw it. It's got that bump on it. I saw it last
the mega
night.
Bump.
The bump is weird.
It's massive. It's also lopsided. That's my problem. Like maybe it's just a
Steve
me
wouldn't
thing.
have liked that.
I go like, if you're gonna make a phone that has a mega bump on the back, at
Make
least
more bump.
Make more bump. Because then when I put the phone down, it's flat. Now you have a phone that has like
wobbles.
one corner and then it wobbles and it does a thing.
Like an upside
Also,
down
why am I
turtle.
resting my phone on the camera? I mean, maybe it's just me, but I'm like...
Right. They have a case for it, but then it's now
but then
thick
what's
again.
the point of the thin phone?
Correct. I said
You
this
see?
to this Apple executive and they're like, God, you're annoying still.
I had to sit through this lecture last night.
Oh, did you? It is. No, he's 100% right.
No, but
the wobble.
Think
the
of-
wobble.
And not
Same
just the
thing.
wobble. You make the thinnest phone
Yeah.
and then you put a fat battery on it and you tell me, look, we can put a battery. But then if I've got to put a fat battery on a thin phone, you've
That's
got me
right.
back to the fat
Just
phone.
give me back this.
Okay,
This
but
is
the
fine.
gains of the fat back and the wobble, what
No,
are
it's
they?
no gains.
There's no gains.
No
So you don't
gains.
get
I
more
have one
battery?
camera instead of 3.
Uh-huh.
I have less battery life than I would have on the other one.
Less battery
I
with
also,
a bump on.
it also charges slower,
Right.
right? So it charges slow. I've got fewer speaker grills.
Yes, that's right.
Come on.
I'm not loving this new one, I have to say. You know what I do love? The new AirPods. Now those things are cool.
Real-time
and someday,
translation?
well, AirPods should be, if it was a business by itself, it would be a massive business,
would be
right?
huge.
And everyone made fun of them at the time they came out. If you
Yeah.
remember, everyone was like, you look ridiculous. I'm
Yes.
like, no, these are fantastic. One of the things that to me will happen is someday we will have video cameras in them or some sort of camera and it will it will be instead of wearing glasses, which some people are working on, Meta has some, Apple obviously did Vision Pro, but these are where I think there's going to be visuals, and then it's going to talk to you, like in that movie Her. It'll be talking to you and like, okay, up ahead is that person. Go to the left. Go here, and it will. You'll constantly be interacting with some sort of AI that will speak to you all day long.
What's the first tech that made you feel like you were living in the future? I always love asking this to like tech lovers.
Well, I'm a little older. The browser, the Mosaic browser.
Really?
Yes, because look, you had
not the computer. That was like okay-ish.
They hadn't really innovated. I mean, there was there were a couple, not Dell's. What was the company? It's gone now. They had some small ones that were pretty cool, right? Actually, that's not true. There was something called General Magic that created the General Magic device, and it was an iPhone before there was an iPhone.
Like how long are we talking?
It was a lot of the people who worked on iPhone later. This was 80s, essentially.
No way.
I can't remember. I remember Apple had Newton, if you remember.
Yeah, but I don't know about General Magic.
Similar. General Magic was before that, and a lot of the people moved to the Newton project. They kept trying to do it, right? And the guy, Tony Fadell, that ended up being critical to the iPod, worked at General Magic. Like they were always trying to figure out this sort of, and it actually goes back to Star Trek. That's what they were trying to make.
That little device
That's right, the communicator.
The
communicator, right? And so they were always trying to create that. And that was what that became. But General Magic had, and I have one, I have an original General Magic, was a block. It just was too big. And it had pictures of mail on a desk with a mailbox and stuff like that. And you'd have a stylus, and it wasn't the right form factor, but it was directionally the correct version. And if you look at that, you're like, you could see the straight line into this. Same thing with the glasses and stuff. I have one of the original Google glasses, which
those massive.
No, they weren't big. Actually, Google Glass was quite skinny, and then it had this weird little thing, this little square.
The little.
Yes, they were not massive.
Okay.
Vision Pro is massive. Is still big. And so are most of the Meta ones, Oculus and everything else. The Google Glass was small, and it sat on like it was very thin, and then had a little thing. It just wasn't very functional. It didn't do much, right? And it would sit there. And one of the problems with it, when it first was introduced, my ex-wife worked for Google, so I went to a Christmas party, and they had just introduced Google Glass, but nobody had them but the Google people. And so everyone on the boat, she was in that division, had the Google Glass on a boat. It was such a great scene. And they wouldn't let me have it. They're like, you can't have it. I'm like, thank you. And they're wearing it, and they were trying to have it, to get it to go. You go, hello, Google, or you said something like hello, Google to it.
Yeah.
And then it would act.
That was like
they have an action word, right? And they were all going, hello, Google. And they were turning on each other's Google Glass with the same
hilarious.
thing.
Oh, my goodness.
At Google parties, they used to have really good food all the time. And they'd have like a mountain of shrimp, like really good shrimp. And I sat there eating shrimp like, this is the worst
Listening
thing.
to hello, Google,
it was
hello,
like,
Google.
This
hello,
is
Google.
dystopia, but the shrimp is delicious. And they didn't realize nobody would interact like this. And even Sergey, who wore them around all the time, he's one of the founders, Sergey Brin, he'd wear them everywhere. And they were so weird looking and unattractive. And he was wearing them at a Vanity Fair Oscar party. And he came up and he goes, nobody's talking to me. And I'm like, well, you're wearing those fucking Google Glass. No celebrities don't want a picture at a party where they're smoking pot. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you take them
You're
off?
just walking around with a camera.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Super
and he goes, oh, what should I say? I said, say I'm a billionaire. It'll work with these people. Like, take off the glasses, say I'm a billionaire. But what happened with Google Glass, and I think eventually it'll get better, was, and I did say this to him and others at Google at the time, I said, congratulations, you've rendered. Remember they went to Victoria's Secret and they all had them on? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember
so
this,
they
actually.
had to introduce it, they did a Victoria's Secret event and all the supermodels had them on.
Oh, wow.
And so I was there and they go, what do you think? I go, you've just made supermodels unfuckable. How good for you. Well done,
That
boys.
is technology.
It was. I
Well
was like,
done, guys.
whoa.
But I think everything she's explained is what I find wrong with technology. It almost feels like it makes you ignore the giant plate of shrimp in front of you.
Right. Well, but
Yeah, you've never what
shrimp is
like
delicious,
what tech?
by the way.
No, but I
shrimp.
like asking
Shrimp's
you
good. Shrimp.
these things because you've always been one of my non-techie friends.
Yeah.
So you'll ask me questions, and there's some tech that you'll adopt, and then there's some tech that you won't.
Yes.
Like, which tech do you think is actually meaningful? Do you like even care
I think after the radio, we should have stopped.
Oh,
Jesus,
wow.
Eugene.
Okay,
And
then
wow.
wow.
we pushed it to television.
I told you this man's a Luddite.
I'm sold on
I
television.
love the butter churn. It's such a good- You know what I actually like? You might like this, the Aura. Although now they're working with the Defense Department, so fuck that. But this ring is really, it's the beginning of the idea of monitoring your health a little bit.
Yeah.
I find this to be really interesting. And it gives you, I used to call a lot of these things unwearables because it was like your steps. What does that tell you about your health? Does it tell you anything? Oh, I did 10,000 steps. Well, what does that mean? What should you do next? What I always wanted was a device either on your wrist or here or in your ear. You'd eat a donut and would go, oh, that was a mistake. It would talk to you and say, what you need to do is get up right now and walk 1,000 steps, and I'll tell you when you're done. Or what you need to do now is go get a kefir immediately and drink that down.
Get those probiotics going.
probiotic going. But I would like something that has actionable information. And this one, especially for sleep, really gives you data that you can actually pay attention to, and they have to start to interpret it. But that's the kind of thing you're hoping for. That would be useful. This is an Aura ring.
It's good for you, and it makes you look committed.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's kind of too big though, because only guys made this. Let me just say, it needs to be this big because of all the.
You've got all the sensors on the
But
inside.
eventually, it
Then
won't.
where's space for your wedding ring?
I know I'm married. I don't wear it. Don't say anything. Shh. I don't like rings. They make me feel like I'm captive. I do this with
like
a ring.
on the hand.
The ring itself on your finger makes you feel like
I don't like rings.
Some people like jewelry in general. It's hard
on their
to wear.
fingers.
Yeah.
No, just even like around your neck as
like
well.
anything.
Sometimes
No, I don't.
So you've never had a conversation.
My wife
with your
would
wife
like me.
about
She
it?
would like me to wear it more, and I try. I try my best.
How many times has this topic come up? Because
many times. Thank you for bringing it up, and now she'll listen to this, and we'll have another one. Let me just say something. Let me give you a little tip for reporting. Ask a man how his wife is sometime. I always start interviews with some weird personal question. Ask a man how their wife is. Many men do this.
no.
They start.
they fidget with the ring.
They fidget and take it off. Like it's really interesting. Just try it. You'll see.
It's like it's burning them from
Burning
Lord of the
them,
Rings or
burning their
something. That's
finger,
like a weird.
and they're always like, great. Everything's great. And I'm like, okay, now I know.
I wonder if you could get all the data and see if there's any correlation between who took the ring off and
Yes.
how their relationship turned
Ends
out.
up, right, exactly.
Because maybe that's like a tell that someone's giving you.
Yeah.
It's like, how's your relationship?
Yeah.
And if they pull the ring off and then answer you and then put it back on.
Yep.
And maybe you can tell us
you
because
have
you've
to
never
be-
had it
It's
on.
because they know when you put it on like.
Well, that said, I'm not subject to that. I'm only wearing because I'm traveling. I usually take it off in the morning. But
So where
I
do you
don't wanna
keep
lose
the
it.
one that was blessed for this union?
Blessed, yes, because the Catholic Church loves a gay marriage. It's in a box. It's in a nice, pretty box. It's a pretty box.
And she was
Probably from
hers.
South Africa. From your country. From your country.
Wait, I'm fascinated by this because earlier on I was telling you that I'm actually entertaining the concept
Yeah.
of getting married. and-
Okay. I have.
What?
I know you just said that
You
to
just-
me. You just told me.
Wow.
this.
You see,
You didn't know? Sorry.
remember when we were together,
very
you
close.
said maybe
you,
ask
Kara.
your friends.
Yeah.
What did I
Wow.
say?
No,
He wants
no,
to
no,
get
no, no,
married.
no. The
No,
what?
I'm saying about us, the
okay,
friends
let me
part.
Oh,
explain.
I said, have you fix him up?
Let me explain what
And
where
then-
the what came from.
And
The what came from
Yeah.
me finding out on a podcast that we are sharing here from Kara Swisher
yeah.
Yes.
that you are considering getting married.
Well, I'm a famous reporter, so that's
This is
clear what
touche.
Also,
Shame.
I
This is
found
true.
out that you were a weird nerd who was brushing up against nothing cool your whole life.
You knew this
Before
about
I-
me.
Okay.
You've
then.
always known this about me.
Trevor, I didn't.
He didn't know the shame that you had.
I didn't know the
I had
shame
no
that you
shame.
carried. Yes.
There was no shame.
had
I was just a nerd enjoying
Yeah,
myself.
100%
He
shame.
wished he could date girls.
Let me tell you
Yes,
something.
so
Let me tell you how
much.
much fun it was. Let me tell you something. Few things were more fun. Friday nights,
Mm-hmm.
I would be in my room with my PC.
Better by the second.
With my PC. I'd have my
Oh,
PC.
wow.
And we had this deal in South Africa at the time where the service provider would give you internet that like the cost of dialing up wouldn't
cheaper.
go beyond a certain price from 7 p.m. on Friday night until 7 a.m. on
Downtimes.
Monday,
Downtimes, yeah.
right? And so the maximum price was something like if $1 essentially, which was otherwise you could pay like $1,000
Yes,
if you weren't
could.
careful,
It used to be very
right?
expensive.
So I'd wait. Friday night would come, and I'd be sitting there with my PC. I had my whole rig. I'd plugged in car speakers that I would find from wrecked cars, and I created my own surround sound in my room.
Wow.
Right? So connected them all, had my Winamp going.
Winamp, of course.
I'd wait for 7
That was
p.m.
an AOL product.
And I'd wait for 7 p.m. And then 7 p.m. would come, click that modem, get going.
Nice. Well done.
I would get in, and then my mom taught me how to make a rum and raisin whiskey concoction.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So I'd sit at home with a 5-liter, I don't know what that is, a gallon, maybe? I don't know how to convert these things, but of ice cream mixed with whiskey.
Oh,
And then I would dip my cup in, and I would sip it, and then I would chat to strangers from all over the world.
Good time.
That was a normal Friday night for you.
Yeah.
The best Friday
This is
night.
the person that you wanted me to ask.
Do you see any shame?
100%.
No.
What?
We're ashamed for you.
We're ashamed of you. But I was really asking Kara about this. I was like, I really want to take that step. But my question to her was, is it better to do it with someone that you've known for a long time or get fixed up?
No, I got fixed up on a blind date. My wife and I were
Who fixed you up?
Lydia Polgreen and her wife, Candy, fight.
What did they see in you and her? That
So
they were
I
like,
had broken up with someone, and I had not ever been single my entire life. I went out with men too, many years when I was in high school and stuff. And I just hadn't been alone, like by myself. And I said, I'm going to be alone for a year. I did one of those things.
Yeah.
And Candy called me and she texted me and said, can I fix you up with someone? I have 2 people. I have 2 different, she was kind of a matchmaker personality. And she said, I actually was going to a funeral. And I was like, well, how about after the funeral?
Very
together.
Practical.
Right, exactly.
Let's
I was
finish
wearing
with
all.
this
I think I was wearing this jacket.
Maybe I might.
Yeah,
I might intend another death.
I know exactly. And I said, okay, but I'm not going out with anyone for a year. I'm not. I'm gonna I literally just.
How many
broken
months
up.
were you in now?
A month.
1 month in, still strong.
A month and a half, maybe. And I said, okay, I'll go. I'll start with one, and they had a little dinner party kind of thing in Brooklyn, and I went, and we got married. We had a baby a year later.
Wow.
You never got to number 2?
Never got. We did meet. I met number 2 later. Very nice. It was a very excellent choice too.
Wow. So was there a moment when you met number 2 where you were like, this could have been, or was it no, like you?
No, I picked the right. I got the right one. She picked the right one.
So
actually, she picked the right one.
Oh, because that was the first option that she had for you.
That she picked.
Oh, she
Number
put
2 was
that
the backup
as-
plan.
Yes, and I really, really trusted her. And I think you should take advice from your friends. If they really care about you, they think about it.
I got you, boo.
So you
Okay,
want to
who you
drink
gonna
rum and raisin?
I got used to drink
okay.
rum and raisin.
Yeah.
Used to.
Do you have someone for him?
Used to.
Do you?
I can figure it
No
out.
ways.
I got
no
you.
ways.
I got you.
The only way
I'm coming to the wedding.
I only trust Trevor to pick the menu.
Oh, okay, all right. He
I would
might. You
never-
know, but he
I
has
would
your
n-
best interest at heart.
I've got his. Thank you, Kara. I have his
Right, he does.
full best
If- if
interest.
he-
This is a guy
In
who
fact,
put
this
me
is-
through talking about the hump on the iPhone
Oh,
for
yeah.
hours and hours.
But you know what? He's right about that. That's very upsetting.
That's what I'm talking
It's
about.
real. I was like, these people. It's a multi-trillion-dollar company.
Yes.
They didn't notice the. I said that to the executive.
So you know what my
There was a
theory
pretty
is?
big executive at this morning show premiere, and he goes, "What do you think?" I'm like, "What's with the bump?" And he goes, "Fuck you." I was like, what? You didn't notice the bump? All your multi-billion-dollar.
Can I tell you my theory?
What?
My genuine theory, and
What's
I could
your
be wrong
theory?
on this. I feel like the technology that's being made today, not all of it, but a lot of it, is being made by people who are not using it. So they're sort of like making theoretically, but they're not using.
No, I think they had Samsung envy. You know, because some
For
of
the
these,
thin phone?
the thin phone. I
No,
think
but
they wanted a thin
Kara,
phone.
there's no way someone was using that and was like, this is right.
Well, it was interesting because when I saw it, I thought Steve Jobs would vomit on this phone. Like he would not like it. He would not have let it go like that. No way. One of the things that was really interesting many years ago when I was partners with Walt Mossberg for years on our conference, our big code conference, where we had Steve Jobs and Bill Gates together and stuff like that. And we had Zuckerberg and Elon and everyone else. But Walt brought him the Zune. Remember the Zune from Microsoft?
Yeah.
It was
Right.
brown.
Yep.
It was like, who picked a brown poop color?
But it was a pretty good device.
It was a good device, but it
didn't
looked-
look good at all.
It didn't look good.
It
The
looked
color,
terrible.
and it was shaped wrong. It had a wrong. The iPod had the golden means measurements.
The ratio, right?
The ratio,
Yeah.
which was why you found it attractive, and you don't know why you did, but it was very nice to hold, and it's because Jobs used the golden means ratio, which is interesting. but the Zune was square. Remember, it was hard to hold.
It was just an ugly device.
It was an ugly device.
Yes.
So Walt handed Jobs he goes, let me see it. And he's like, I'm not supposed to show it to anyone. And Jobs was like, let me see the fucking thing. Because he wasn't able to get it, right? And so he put it in Jobs' hands, and Jobs went like this. Like that. Because he was such a drama queen. But I think it actually repelled him. He was like, why do they make so many ugly things? Like, why can't they make... Because a lot of them, including Apple is the only one that really did do things that were actually beautiful and beautiful to hold. And even Google, when they were trying to when they made their phone, and my ex-wife was a Google executive too, and remember they had the stacks. You had to go.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was using my phone, but she had to use the Android, and I was looking for an address, and I go, where is she? She goes, well, it's in the stacks. I'm like, what the fuck is the stacks? And she's like, the stacks. And she's a tech person. She goes, obviously the stacks. I was like, nobody normal knows what a stack is. And with iPhone, a child could pick it up and use it.
It's the most intuitive device ever created.
It's intuitive because it's simple. And one thing Steve Jobs used to say, he said it to me at least, was it's really, it's very complex to make things simple, but it's very simple to make things complex. And so a lot of people in Silicon Valley make things complex on purpose because it's easy for them. But they're not thinking like a consumer would use it.
This conversation proves one thing to me.
What?
That I should never let him choose anything for me.
Because
Kara was busy giving me advice about how option 1 became so great, and you lured her in with your stacks and your ramen raisin press.
Wait, you know what? Actually, no. I think
let's help him.
Can I tell you something that actually we're getting to, which is important.
Okay.
That's why I like this triumvirate that we've created here. I think Kara's giving us an insight into the tech industry.
Right.
That to me sounds like there are too many, like, let's just say, cables that have been disconnected from people.
Right.
Because what you just said is what I think is missing in dating apps and whatever. I think a lot of dating apps have a very simplistic idea of how dating and how relationships are formed. A person finds another person attractive, they link up, therefore it works.
What you're talking about. Right.
But it's like, no. If you think of what a working relationship is, everyone who's told me a story about being set up, obviously some people have bad stories, but when you even think of matchmakers in India, a great matchmaker in India will tell you, my job is not to just set you up. My job is to understand you and then understand you and figure out why you would or wouldn't work beyond what you may know or not know about yourself. And whenever I hear people talk about someone setting them up, like a friend of theirs or somebody, they go, you said the line, and I promise you everyone says it, they go, they were like a matchmaker type. There's a skill that they possess.
Right, correct. Not everybody has it.
Exactly. That enables them to see why you connect with you. But these apps don't necessarily do that.
AI can do that eventually. Eventually there will be.
Yeah, but now they don't.
Some of the algorithms do have things that are helpful. I mean, we're on our way to that. And I think
on the way,
it will read your facial expressions.
Yes,
they're doing job interviews like that. They can watch the facial expressions.
We don't know what they mean yet.
Well, actually, interestingly, I'm finishing up a documentary about future health right now, because it's my next book, talking about there's amazing things happening around tech and health and figuring out things. And one of the ones is this company in Boston, and it's from Brigham Young, which is a big hospital there. It's doing testing there. And it's showing incredible promise. It's called Face Age. And you look at doctors when there's a cancer patient, looks at a cancer patient and decides whether they need more aggressive or less aggressive treatment. And they actually, among the many things they look at is the face. They're like, do they look too much? And a lot of doctors are doing it without actual science. They're just like, I have a feeling this person can take it more. And they use age. They don't even realize they're doing it. They're assessing people. They use the word assessment.
At a glance, even.
But they just look, not at a glance. They're bringing lots of data in to figure it out. But there's this thing called face age, and the AI looks at a face, and you will have a chronological age and a biological age.
Okay.
Your biological age could be a lot lower than your chronological age. And that means you should have more aggressive cancer treatment.
Because you can take it.
Because you can take it, but doctors don't always see it because they're looking at wrinkles, they're looking at all kinds of things, or maybe someone's a little creakier. But this AI has been accurate in telling doctors which patients can take treatment more aggressively. And this one woman I met, she's 82 years old. She looked older. She was wearing a wig. She looked older. She was 82. Her face age was 72. And they gave her more aggressive treatment. She's cancer-free now. It's incredible. Like these AI will be able to have a lot of data that we don't quite understand. The decision-making will be part of a tool that doctors use. It can't be the decision maker, but it'll be a tool that doctors use going forward. So AI will be able to fix you up eventually. Not today. No, I'm not kidding. Here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. What do you want? What are you looking for? Make a list.
Wow.
That's what I did.
Kara, you know what I love about you? You care.
I care.
No one has ever asked me this. I mean, some people wear cardigans and claim to be my friend.
Wow.
And
wow. I'm having a bad time.
This is insane.
This is awkward. This is awkward.
Wait, what was on your list though?
What's on your list?
What was on your list?
Likes children because I had 2 kids.
Okay.
Woman?
Well, yes, that was
me too.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Excellent. We have the same list now. Flexible, like
as in dexterity.
Physically is great, but no, more like flexible. Isn't like rigid as a person.
Okay.
Rigid as a person.
Take.
Sense of humor.
Take.
Okay with change. I'm a very change-oriented person. Like I just sat there and wrote it down. And
change as in like you change the way you think,
not
the way you dress,
uncomfortable with change,
location,
like, whatever. Just things happen, right? I had a whole list. I'd have to find it, but
please feel free.
I will send it to you. But you have to make a list of what's most important to you and rank it.
I like your recommendations.
Yeah, rank it. Stack rank it.
Are we going to stack now?
And then go ahead. Go ahead.
Back to stacks.
Okay, go ahead. What's the most
spontaneity?
Important? Okay, good. Should that be at the top? And you can say looks too. You can be like, I like a good-looking lady.
Okay,
like
good-looking lady.
Well, to you, a good-looking lady. Yeah. You. What's number 1?
Privacy.
Oh, that's number 1?
Yes.
Interesting.
Have you heard of the new iPhone?
But more than anything, family orientated.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So look for that. And don't and if they're not, if it's not on the list, you got to cut it loose.
We're going to continue this conversation right after this short break.
Is it possible sometimes that you would not want to date someone because you wouldn't think they fit with your friendship circle?
Yes.
And if that happens, who goes? Do you dump the person
I think your friendship circle
is
more important. I think they have to be able to.
Yes, I agree.
I think they are.
Your friends are way more important.
Actually, study
Eugene.
after study shows you live longer if you have a friendship circle.
That is very true, Eugene. If you keep your friends close, you will live longer.
Wait. So was it more helpful for you that she was recommended by a friend?
Yeah, I think
and then
so.
You got to keep her and the friendships.
Yeah, you don't want your friends at cross purposes. That sucks. Nobody likes it. Look, I had the funny, bad boyfriends are always the worst thing for a group of friends. If a friend has a bad boyfriend, you're like, the bad boyfriend. And you know who that is, right?
It is always funny when someone has a partner that everyone else is like, are they coming with them?
I had a friend who has someone we don't like, and they it was very obvious, and everyone doesn't say anything, and they're like, you don't like this person. I said, I really don't. And they were like, well, it's, kind of, you have to. And I'm like, and I named another friend of mine. I'm like, I've never met her fucking husband. I never hope to. Like, I don't have to be friends with your partner. I said, if her husband fell on me, I wouldn't know it was her husband. So why do I?
I've met you for the first time today and we got on like a house on fire.
Right, exactly.
But you are a likable person.
I am a likable person.
You are an interesting person.
I am
an interested person.
I am an interested person.
What is it about that guy?
I don't know. I just didn't. It was a woman. I didn't like her. She was mean.
You just didn't feel her vibe.
No, I didn't like them. You cannot like people.
I like this.
Yeah. One day, the other I said to someone, they're like, I said, I can't. They're not friends. It was a work thing, and they were like, why are you leaving? And I said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. They were like, what? They said, honestly, why are you leaving? I'm like, honestly,
I'm done talking to you.
I said, I'm done talking to you, and they were like, what? And I go, I wish I could say it any nicer, but that's really the reason.
Damn, Kara.
And then what does the opposite of that look like? You're walking into this apartment in Brooklyn.
I just want to talk to you. I like hanging out with you. Yeah.
Did you know it was her when you walked into the room?
We met before because dating people are the TV for couples. Like they're like, oh, let's see what happens here. You know what I mean? We're entertainment, and we met before at a bar. So we both understood we would be the entertainment for the evenings. So.
And everyone was watching you.
That's right. And so we met before, so we made sure that we had an initial like for each other. Yeah.
Was she also in tech?
No, not at all.
Was that refreshing?
She was in journalism. Was
that him being tech again?
No, it was fine. I never dated her.
No, you know why? Because refreshing, nicely done.
No, my ex-wife is a techie. She was the CTO of America, under Obama.
Wow.
I know. She worked at Google. She's CTO of America. Yeah.
No, but the reason I'm asking is because I was going like, is it more refreshing to be with somebody who's in your world or somebody? So like I like hanging out with Eugene partly because he doesn't care about half of those things that I'm talking about.
Right.
But then I sometimes go like, it is fun to be with somebody where
I feel like you two should have a little relationship.
I wish. I'm not his type. Never. All the things that he said.
Never.
All the things that he said. Family oriented.
What do you hang out with Bill Maher? Is that you're a Bill Maher character?
Friends first. That's me. No, but like. Yeah, I just mean like, the refreshing world. Because how many years have you worked in tech?
So 20, 30? 30.
30 years.
Yeah.
And I would say, everyone who has done anything in tech. You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't know Edison, but...
but I mean, this is...
But...
I would assume you didn't know Edison.
I didn't know the Hewlett-Packard people. I met them later when they were older. But from Jobs and Gates on,
But that's what I mean. That is the tech we know.
Oh, no, there were people before that. There were all these companies that were
but I'm not assuming you've lived forever. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, that's right. Yes. So from Gates and Jobs on.
Cool.
Yes.
So how much of this do you now see as your career and how much of it do you see as your passion? Because when I listen to you speak, okay, cool. All right, cool.
I love it. I wouldn't, one of the reason my book was called Burn Book, a love story, a tech love story. I love tech. I'm just pissed at what they did to it. And pissed that they had to take all the juicy bits for themselves rather than...
What do you mean by that?
Well, look, the internet was built by the U.S. government and it was paid for by the U.S. taxpayer. But who made all the money? A small group of largely white men, right? That's what happened there, right? In fact, almost to a person. And I don't understand why everybody doesn't benefit from the fruits of this amazing technology, except for a small group of people. And I don't understand why a small group of people gets to decide everything for the rest of us. Why didn't they ever have any regulation? Why wasn't there any input by citizens on so much of this stuff around privacy? Why do they design things that are so damaging to people? Why can't they not do that? And why don't they lean into the good parts and mitigate the bad parts? Why do they not care about the bad parts and don't feel it's their responsibility? So that's what I love. The amazing things tech can do for people, bringing people. I have a vision of, the way I put it in the book was, I have a vision of Star Trek, and we live in Star Wars.
Damn.
And Star Trek is an amazing vision of the future about diversity in its best light, in people understanding each other, where villains are complex. Cooperation, problems too, and everything else. Common cause, cool outfits. And Star Wars is a very dark and dystopian vision about power and evil ultimately succeeding. They never win. The good people never win. At the end.
It's just a constant slog.
It's a constant slog against the abuse of technology by powerful people. And so I am furious at them for taking something that could bring people together and not caring enough to take out the parts that bring people apart, right? Like anti-Semitism or whatever. And then hiding behind one of the most astonishing amendments in history, the free speech, right? Pretending they're all about free speech when they're not interested. They're interested in their free speech and nobody else's, right? So
when you've seen them over the years, I wonder how much you've seen them change, because I remember having a conversation once with a politician, and it was interesting to see how much they didn't recognize themselves in the person that they were. So I met a politician, and then 10 years later I was in an interview with them, and I asked them about something that they had said 10 years ago, but I didn't say it was them. I just said, this is an idea. What do you think? And they were like, I think that's unrealistic. And you got to understand that that's not how the real world works. And I was like, you said that. And they were like, I don't know if I said that. I was like, no, you said that.
Sounds like Obama, but go ahead.
But there's so many politicians.
I had that conversation with Obama.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah, about encryption.
And what was the conversation?
He was like, we need to open up it was encryption. It was about, I think it was something where he had said one thing and then he later said something else. And he goes, well, if you knew what I knew now. And I was like, oh, stop.
But that's
Right.
what I wonder with like the tech guys as well is, look, maybe I'm taking them at face value. When I see a lot of them launch an idea, maybe not today, because today the money is really in the forefront. Yeah. Everything is like, can it scale?
Yeah.
Will it be a unicorn? What are the numbers?
Why am I at this dinner with Trump? Why Tim Cook am I giving Trump a golden statue?
Yes.
I know he is dying inside. I know it. I don't care. He can deny it all he wants. I know he is.
But my question is, like, what have they lost that they had in the beginning? Because in the beginning, it starts as a...
Hope.
You think it's hope?
Well, it's interesting because, I've known someone like Sam Altman. I knew him when he was 19. He was really interesting as a 19-year-old when he did Looped, which was a failure, his company. It was a location services. I don't even remember what it did, but it was a location pinger kind of thing. And, parts of it remain. I think people are often the way they are when I met them early or the way they are now, just with more money, and then money has its deleterious effects. Too much money or too much... they have a lot of people licking them up and down and agreeing with them violently about oh, right, good job. And I think what happens is they become, do you remember in Succession, as you watch that show, which I think that was a fantastic show depicting wealth and power, what happens and the deleterious effects of it, their worlds kept getting smaller and smaller. In their homes, they went from their tight little cashmere homes to their cars, to their planes, to their boats, and they never encountered people, right? They stayed less and less. The last scene of Succession, I thought, reminds me of tech people a lot. Think about that last scene. Besides the guy who died, Logan Roy, everybody, the oldest son, he was alone by himself by the water, alone.
Yeah.
With a security guy. The couple was together, Tom and Shiv. Mm-hmm. They were in an insulated car, expensive car by themselves. You know what I mean? They were insulated. They went from the hotel room down through the kitchen, through the thing. There was only one person who was with people, real people, was the other son. He's in a bar. And he's the only one that's happy in that. And I thought it said a lot. So these people, they go from their cars to their yachts, to their homes, like Mark Zuckerberg has a compound in Palo Alto. That means nobody gets in, nobody gets out. And so if you're like that and you're constantly being told you're smart and every idea is right, you never get a feedback of, you fucking asshole, what are you kidding? And you either bring it into your life, like Mark Cuban enjoys feedback. He will listen. He's doing great. He's a great guy because he will listen to people who disagree with him. And he'll seek out people. He was just with Tucker Carlson. I wrote him like, what the fuck? He goes, I got to listen to him. Like he's open to hearing from lots of different people. And then there's people like Zuckerberg who has a compound. And then he bought half of Hawaii. And then he bought this. It's to insulate yourself from everyone else. And if you start off as kind of a bit of a broken person or a jerk, like Jeff Bezos was always a jerk in my memory. Like he was a jerk to start with, and he's a bigger jerk now. When you have money and the deleterious effects of wealth, they become worse. It emphasizes the way you were, the way you initially
amplifies it.
It amplifies it.
Just makes you more of you.
Look at Elon. Look at Elon. Like he was so interesting, and he's not.
What you've explained about people being insulated from the truth once they acquire a certain amount of power, it's like, are you a big fan of The Sopranos?
I love The Sopranos, of course.
Remember the episode where Tony Bandetto came out of prison? And then he was hanging out with Tony and the rest of the goons. Then he made that joke about, boy, you're fat. And then Tony got offended, called him to the side and said, I know we joke around, but I'm the boss now.
Oh, right. Because he's changed. He can't be told that. Yes, they're like that. And it depends on the person. Like, when I run into some people, and I'll say, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, my people agree with me. I'm like, oh, really? They work for you and they're dependent on you. The board of Tesla is a really good example. They cannot have been running this thing correctly, given what's happened, and then want to give them $1 trillion pay package. So far, the record in the recent years has been pretty problematic, right? Not just the lack of sales, but everything, the drug use, the crazy political posturing. Any other company, they would have been like, you need to move along in that job of yours. You need to we need to get someone else to figure out how to keep this company going.
I'm always torn with those types of stories because I go, I know this is a crazy alt take in that way.
Go ahead.
But I sometimes wonder if some of these guys are screwed over by the fact that now they're in the public eye in a different way. Because we don't really know what many of the great inventors in life thought. They didn't have Twitter. They didn't have Facebook. Maybe they're writing, but I'm saying it wasn't a front-facing.
Oh no, Edison was quite a jerk, and also was abusive of tabloids at the time.
Oh damn!
He put all kinds of nasty shit out about Tesla.
Oh yeah, when they were having the beef.
Yes,
He was trying to undermine his technology.
Undermined it, but
and
he used reporters of the day.
So it's the same old
of the day.
Yeah, he used to. Tesla's a very sad story. What an inventor, but he got mowed under. He got turfed by Edison because Edison knew how to use and manipulate the press.
But what I'm saying is we weren't there. But do you think it was as easy to know who Edison was for the people?
Oh yes, no, he was.
You think people
famous.
knew him as the
oh
shitty
yeah,
guy?
Very famous. He was look, someone else like Charles Lindbergh, very famous, most famous person of the day. Turned out to be a virulent anti-Semite and a lover of Hitler. But some of the people had worldwide celebrity. Like some people had
for their the bad side of their.
They didn't know the bad side.
No, that's what I mean.
Right.
Sorry. That's what I'm trying to say. Is I'm going.
Right.
Back in the day, it was a lot easier to obscure who you were and put out who you want people to think you are. I think that's what I mean.
Yes,
and I'm
no,
going
it is. No, it is.
Yeah, and I'm saying
I agree.
now, someone like Elon gets exposed way more than he would if he was in the 1920s.
Well, that's because he doesn't shut the fuck up. At some point, you're like, stop, put down. I used to, after we stopped getting along, I used to put stuff out because I knew he read my stuff at 2 a.m. because I knew he was up.
That is hilarious.
And I put up.
You troll him?
Kanye West put up the fat picture of him with Ari Emanuel. Remember that one?
Yeah.
And Kanye West is the one that did that. And it was like, oh man, what happened? And I never, and I'm not on Twitter anymore, even though I have 1.5 million followers. And he wrote something really awful, as always. And then I was like, oh man, I just did that. I just said, oh man. And 5 seconds later, Elon blocked me. It was so funny.
That's so
But I knew
small.
he's so easy. I was like, oh my God, you're a billionaire. If I was let me remember when he was at Mar-a-Lago for New Year's Eve?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for the big party.
Here's what I thought to myself. I'm the richest man in the world, and I'm fucking at Mar-a-Lago with all these stiffs, and this guy dancing to YMCA. If I'm the richest person in the world, you know where I am? I just bought France, and I've given everybody free wine, and we're all, you know what I mean? And Beyonce is there.
We need to give Kara Swisher all the money in the world. This sounds like a fun world.
Wouldn't you?
Buy a country, give everybody the wine.
Get France
you know what's funny
drunk.
about that story is, do you remember, I don't know why, there's some moments that are seared into my brain. Do you remember when Trump was basically saying Elon's annoying and he's sick of him being around?
Yeah.
So but this is in public. This is not a secret thing.
Not on the side?
No. You can see these. They were talking to him about Elon and his work and whatever. And Trump was like, yeah, Elon, very smart. He's doing big things, doing big things. Yeah. Very smart. He's been around, always here, always. Sometimes I wonder when he's gonna go, but he doesn't go. He's here every day.
Yeah.
I go, don't you have to run a company or something? But he stays.
Yeah,
he stays.
That's nice. Well
Good
done.
old Elon. Good old Elon.
Get the fuck out of here. But, get the fuck out of here. He needed the money.
He was like, yo,
needed
man,
the money.
who
He
the
needed
hell?
the money.
I was like, for Trump to be like, who is this loser who I can't get rid of? He's like, you've done your job. You gave me the money.
You can
Now
help me win the
get
election.
the fuck out.
Move on now.
When he first started showing up there, and he was, because after the election, they're like, oh, he'll go. I'm like, oh, he's not going to go. He has nowhere to go.
You called it?
The
fact that he's going to stay?
Oh, I thought he was going to stay. And so I ran into a Trump person pretty high up, and he goes, oh, you're so mean about Elon. I go, he's fucking nuts. You'll see. I said, has a drug problem, has been well reported by the New York Times. He doesn't consider it a problem, whatever. He likes the ketamine and stuff like that. He talks about it. He likes the ketamine. And I said, and he's really irritating. He really is, just so you know. And he's become more irritating now, and you can see it. And they were like, oh, you're just jealous. We have Musk. I'm like, okay, good luck. 4 weeks later, this person I ran into, they're like, oh my God. And I was like, I told you. And they're like, you were right. He won't leave. And I was like, he's not leaving. I said, he goes, when we move up to White House, he'll leave. I go, he won't leave. And he didn't. Remember, he was always.
He didn't go anywhere.
He didn't go. He's like, no, in the White House, we can keep him out. I'm like, you can't keep him
He became the White House mascot, like next to the
with
desk.
that kid, that poor kid.
Yeah.
Wait, so how could they not keep him out of the White House?
Because Trump said
you could have easily just blocked someone.
Trump is like Tony Soprano. He likes people hanging around.
Yeah. And also remember, like Trump, if you go back in his life, I think it was his dad who taught him a lesson. He said, always stay close to the richest, most powerful people that you can.
Yeah.
So Trump faces that dichotomy.
I also think he likes a crew.
But he likes cool. Yeah. And I think he actually has an acute sense of what cool is.
Yeah.
But sometimes he's stuck with the uncool, but it's attached to the rich or the powerful. And he's like, I've got to hang out here.
He just said it recently. He said he's got to come back.
Who?
He said
Elon?
Elon, yeah. Trump did.
Now
I thought he shouldn't have said that. He won't come back now.
He won't come back.
No, because also when they were saying, we got Elon, I go, oh, it's going to break up bad. I said it publicly. I was like, this is going to be like, there can be only one. It's Highlander time here, everybody. And it's going to be Trump.
I love that reference.
FYI.
The Highlander.
I love that. They're making it again.
Yeah.
They're making it again.
Born to begin. We're the princes of the universe.
Oh, what a time.
Who is that? Christopher Lambert.
Lambert,
right.
I think, yes.
Yeah. And of course, Sean Connery was No, they're making it. I forget who the star is.
You think it's going to be any good?
Oh, yeah.
What, you think so?
Oh, yeah. It's a good cast.
Okay, yeah, but the cost for me doesn't sell.
Well, the first one's great. It's like Roadhouse, right? Like
you
Roadhouse.
You trust that it's
Roadhouse. The original Roadhouse is the finest movie in the land.
I don't know, Kara. I feel like movies are in the same world that tech is right now.
Oh, they're recopying themselves.
And also nothing. There's a few things that pop out. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, if I look at the
Weapons
average,
or Sinners. Or
yeah, exactly. Weapons, Sinners. It's funny. Yesterday we were talking about those exact same movies. But I just feel like it's less adventurous, it's less edgy, it's less interesting, it's less imaginative, it's less,
it's limited. But I think there's always been sequels. I think we always say that, like, this donut's not as delicious as it used to be. And it kind of is. It wasn't very good before. Like, we have memories that maybe, because, what was your formative movie?
My formative movie?
I'm guessing Star Wars.
No, The Matrix.
Matrix, okay.
Yeah, nothing has shaped how I perceive, and not like, is it real, is it not real? Not like that. Not like, red pill, blue. No, actually, that stuff I think is dumb in the way people interpret it, to be honest with you.
Right.
It was, first of all, the
amazing
computer
movie.
world.
Yeah, also amazing.
Yeah, the way. But
great story. That's why you liked it.
Yes.
It was not because it was the tech. It was
no,
the story.
but I did love the aspects of tech. And remember, for me, I was this little kid watching this guy who's like a loser in his world.
Right.
Which guy?
And then you go,
What
not
do you
you.
want this
No,
guy?
I meant this person.
No, not you.
Not you.
Keanu Reeves.
So I was watching Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
This like
Thank
sort
you,
of
Kara.
loser who's in his bedroom the whole time,
Yeah.
and and I was like, man,
bedroom?
there's a world where you could.
PCI slot.
Yeah, you could become, because remember, he's like in there and they come and buy
See, I go back.
Hyperlooped.
I could be a rapper. Go ahead. Except for being a
but it was, I don't know,
dull
for me,
white woman.
there was that element of it.
who can't sing. Do you know my sons have really good? I'm going to take it aside. My sons have really good musical taste,
Yeah.
and they were using my Spotify at one point, and just making playlists and stuff like that. And I think the guy who's head of Spotify was like, "You have great musical taste." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, and they said someone, and I was like, "Who's that?" Like, because I didn't know my sons were making.
Oh, they were like making your playlist.
Yeah,
making your playlist.
So I look cool.
Nice.
I don't
So
know who
you
was
love
on.
The Matrix?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
because it was everything. It was like everything. But the most important thing, okay, this is why I think it's formative. And this is, I have this theory, and I say this to you. I apologize for saying it to you again, Eugene. I'll say it to you. I've never said it to you. I think we take for granted how powerful the stories we are told can be and what they can do to us, because they shape how we then perceive the world and what we think is or isn't possible. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what, like, The Matrix forced me to think of the world differently.
And what the world is really like.
Exactly.
And about the layers of it. Right?
Who's in, who's not in.
Right.
Who are you?
What's
Who do you
real,
pretend
what's
to
not
be?
real.
What's real? What's not real? And for me, one of the most powerful scenes in The Matrix, the one that like really, really got me, was the scene of Agent Smith with Morpheus, where Morpheus is sitting in the chair and he's restrained, and Agent Smith comes up to him, and he's like wiping. Yeah. When he kicks the other agents out of the room, and then he's like, "Get out, get out!" And then he talks to him, and he goes and he says, like, "You want to know what it is about this place? It's the smell, if there is." And he goes.
They hated being there.
Yeah, but what I loved was how, like, to what you said earlier, complicated villains.
Yes, that's right. He was a complicated
I was like,
villain.
imagine this guy hates that he's there.
Yeah.
He hates that he has to be there. He hates that he has to. And it was one of the
like
first.
the DC National Guard right now.
Yeah, he was.
No, they just released a report, and they're like,
They were like, we hate being there.
we're embarrassed.
There you go.
Yeah, it was an internal report that just got out.
Wow.
The guards themselves, I never am mean to them.
There you go.
They don't want to be there.
Yeah.
But there you go. And what it did for me was, it opened my eyes to the possibility that the prison guard could also sometimes hate being in the prison.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then it's like the way I thought of all of it, he wanted to be free, and that's why it shaped it. Like,
Yeah.
What was your one?
Terminator. I love
Which
the Terminator.
one?
The first one, all of them.
But was the first one the formative one?
First one was the formative one.
Okay. What was it about
Coincidentally,
Terminator?
same maker, right?
Same.
No.
Matrix and Terminator.
Cameron and Wachowski.
No, the writer. I'm saying the creator.
No. Cameron and Wachowski. I think
the person that wrote.
Cameron wrote Terminator.
Terminator.
Yeah. And then
the same lady that wrote
Wachowskis.
No, then the Wachowskis wrote the Matrix.
Okay. Similar, probably influenced. I bet they were influenced.
I mean, you have to be
Terminator.
influenced, yes.
I just love that movie. It was so. I love time travel. I love time travel movies. I love time travel books. I think I would love to be able to time travel, and I always was attracted Ray Bradbury stories. I even like Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'll watch any time travel.
Time Cop was what a movie. What a deep cut.
What a fucking fantastic movie. And so it was. Anyway, I loved it, and the idea of can you change time was always really interesting to me. And just Schwarzenegger was amazing. The visuals were amazing. The ideas, they were fucked up ideas. They're really fucked up ideas of what the future is. And what was really interesting was the idea that it wasn't the machines that are the problem. It was people, right? Yeah. People not understanding the power of the machines. And so it was always resonated. And of course, Gladiator. Who doesn't love Gladiator? But that's just the finest movie in the land, too. Roadhouse. Roadhouse is my favorite movie.
Formative movie?
We just watched it again. I do the annual Roadhouse watching, and not the Jake Gyllenhaal pathetic version.
Terrible.
The original.
Swayze.
Shots fired.
Swayze.
Original. Formative movie?
It has to be Norton and Pitt Fight Club.
Really?
I like that. That's a nice one.
It almost feels like it made you see the world in a different way through the characters that played in that world.
Yeah.
For example, Meatloaf.
Right.
He wasn't a rock star there. You were just a guy with huge man boobs. And then for a long time in the movie, you're caught up thinking Tyler Durden and the other guy are two different people.
Right.
And all along he was having a conversation with himself.
Spoiler alert, you're supposed to say that.
You're supposed to. Well, that's all right. It's old. It's too late.
You know what would happen to you if we're in Fight Club?
Their own damn
you know what would happen to him if we're in Fight Club? I'd go, then blood would just seep through my teeth.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Okay.
So, okay, you know what? Actually, this is why I'm, some people think it's a stretch, but you did bring it up with Star Trek. People take for granted how much the technology that is made today, or the technology that has been made over the past few years, was made by people who were inspired to make it by the movies they were watching as kids.
That's right.
Like they watched something and they went, could
Elon
we make...
is deeply impacted by sci-fi.
Wow. Exactly.
Deeply. Like we've had so many discussions about sci-fi and the stuff he is interested in. It's crazy. Like many of them are.
And that's what, so this is why I hop on about like art.
Yes.
Not in the highfalutin sense. I just go, people be like, who cares if movies become terrible?
Not just movies,
who cares?
Stories too.
Yeah, stories, books, whatever it is, whatever the stuff that's getting
Cartoons,
out there. All of it.
Yeah.
That stuff tells a kid what to imagine and what to think about. That kid grows up into a man or a woman who is now going to try and create a certain type of future based on the imagination that they have inherited.
Right.
And then if they don't have a good enough imagination, like I think of all the movies and TV shows now that make the best thing you can be a billionaire. Rich, rich, money, money, rich, rich, money, money. No creativity really. It's just like money, money, rich, rich, power, power, rich, rich, money, money, money. And then I go, what does that mean for like the generation that grows up watching that? If they aspire to just be.
Well, maybe they're not getting the art from there. There's a lot of television shows that are really powerful.
Definitely. Look, I hope so. Yeah.
So now, I mean, like, listen, what I watched was like Gilligan's Island and, Love American
Boat.
Style, Love Boat. So,
Love
and
Boat.
somehow I made it through. Like, sometimes I think we overestimate the negative effects of some of this stuff.
Oh, not the negative. I don't underestimate the inspirational effects.
Right. But go back and look at H.G. Wells. Read that sometime. That guy Leonardo da Vinci clocked a lot of stuff, right? I mean, if you go look at his drawings, you're like, how did he know that?
You do.
Right? How did he get it?
They might have been time travelers.
Maybe so. Where would you go in time if you could travel?
Definitely forwards.
You can't go forwards.
What do you mean?
I'm
I have
just
to
telling
go
you.
backwards?
I've made the rule. I'm now.
Yeah,
okay.
You can't. Thank you.
You can't go.
All right, so I have to go backwards.
Backwards.
Only back.
Okay, let me think. This is a difficult. Okay, let's establish a few rules. If I'm going backwards in time, am I going to meet me? How does your time travel work? Do I exist in the
If you
back?
see yourself, you blow up.
Like, do I exist in the back?
No.
You do.
I do in your.
Why?
Okay. No, these are our rules.
To.
It's fine.
Rules. You have to.
Wait, but I need to. But I'm gonna
you
get
can't
involved
go
soon,
meet
so
yourself.
I need to.
Let's just go say you can't.
No, that's why I'm trying to establish the
Okay,
rules.
okay.
So in your rules, I do exist there. Okay.
Yes.
Then that changes quite a few things.
You see, I knew this was gonna happen. He added a
You could
complication.
mail yourself a letter and say, buy Apple.
There we go.
Go ahead.
You see, I wouldn't. You see, honestly,
I'm just saying you could do that.
can I tell you, I spend an inordinate amount of time thinking of time travel. And I worry about it because, for me at least, I don't know what the butterfly effect would be of changing any one aspect of my life. And I worry. So you're
But it
saying,
wouldn't matter because you're not coming back
no.
into the present. So whatever change happens is what is.
Yes, but my point is I don't know how that turns out. So to your point, let's say I tell myself at a young age, buy Apple stock. First of all, I'll go, what is Apple? What is stock? What is buying? What is money? Like,
Don't go too far back.
No. But even at that age, I remember, let me tell you how crazy it is. I remember when Alibaba was listing, it had its IPO. I was in South Africa. For some reason, I'd been deep in reading about Alibaba as a tech company. And then I went to like a bunch of people in banking and stuff. And I was like, can I get in on the IPO? And people were like, what are you talking about? I said, there's an Alibaba IPO. And they're like, yeah, Baba. What are you talking about?
So you didn't get in.
No, and I didn't. And now we have, like, now you can buy, derivative shares, stocks. You can do different things that you could back then. You could back then. But what I mean is, I don't know. I go back and then what happens? You know what I might do? I might use my time travel powers to go back
5
like
minutes from
like
now
a few
and fix
hours.
this conversation.
Oh, hours. Oh, nice.
How about that? Maybe 5 minutes from now.
Yeah.
Like, you want me to go
added
5 minutes back?
Yes, because you added the complication of, am I there? Am I not?
Yeah.
What is money?
You know what I
is
would go back
life?
to if I could time travel?
Yes.
I would go back to the moment when I met you.
Oh, Trevor.
That's the moment I would go back
That's
to.
what I would have chosen as well.
That's the moment
Time travel.
I would go back to.
Thank you so much.
And then I would turn around and not walk into that building, Eugene. Because I'd be like, this person is going to roast me for the rest of my life.
Ah, that's good. No, you wouldn't. You'd be so
That's
sad.
when I would go back to.
You would never.
No, I would never. I would never erase this. Come on,
I
I
would
couldn't do that.
literally go back and meet Jesus.
Wow.
Would he know he's Jesus at the
historical-
time?
I
Jesus
don't
knew
know.
he was
I'd need to
Jesus.
find out.
Jesus knew he was Jesus.
No, but there was times where
Maybe.
people have been saying he didn't know he was.
No,
We
but
don't
Jesus
know.
knew he was Jesus.
We
So
don't
he was
know.
rolling with his uncle,
I would like
going
to go find
other
out.
places.
So you would go, what age Jesus would you want to go back to meet?
Yeah.
Right as he started. Right.
Started
as-
being Jesus.
You
Jesus.
could have been then one of the wise men, because that's basically what they
don't let
did.
They didn't let men be that.
We don't
Women
know
did.
that they let men or not
You're
men.
right. The Gnostic Gospels. I got it.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Also, we don't even know what.
Wait. They don't let who?
Women.
Because here's the thing. There's two things.
Wasn't Mary Magdalene?
Yeah, but no.
No, she was not a whore. She was not. She was not.
there's
That
two
was men
things-
writing the history.
There's two things we also forget, though. And one of the big ones is we forget how many times in the Bible it was possible to just like cover yourself in a certain way, and people are like, oh, you're a man or you're a woman.
Right.
So you
Actually,
could have snuck
Gnostic
in.
Gospels show that there were a lot of women involved. It's
There
just
you
the
go.
ones that survived are the ones who were
Yes.
using as a history survived. So I would want to meet Jesus. Probably one of the more significant people.
But what
Formative
age?
years
Still,
or
what
when he's
age
flipping
Jesus?
tables at the temple?
Right when the historical. I'm talking about the historical Jesus. Who was this person, and to meet that person.
Oh, you don't mean Bible Jesus?
Well,
You mean
is
like-
Bible Jesus historical? I want to see what happened. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what happened.
And what age are you thinking?
Whatever, 20, what was he, 20?
20.
20, right? 25, 24, 23.
Yes, because
Would you tell
historical
Jesus that he's going to get crucified?
No,
Damn.
no.
Would you like to meet confident Jesus or
Confident Jesus. It was always
or
confident
insecure Jesus? Because there was Jesus where he's like, no,
there was
this is
Jesus
my
where he was
friend.
doubting.
Yeah,
we were
that's the
just
doubt.
doubting.
Oh, in the thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
like you could go to the garden and go, run. Like, get out. Get out.
Then he turns to Joseph and goes, you're not my dad.
That guy's not your friend. I would actually like go to history in lots of places. Like Caesar, don't go to work today. Just let me
Go to
give you
Cleopatra. Don't get in the carpet.
get
Don't
get on that chariot and head out of Rome.
Just going back and like spoiling every moment from
I
history.
know, like Lincoln. Don't go to the theater. Don't go to the theater tonight.
You just go
Stay
to
home
Abraham
with your
Lincoln
crazy wife.
spoil the end of the play. Just be like, oh, in the end of the play, they find out that the woman had
Yeah.
another family.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
why
yeah.
did you do that? I don't want to watch it anymore. Yes.
But then nobody could do the other than that, Mrs. Lincoln. How was the play? You know, they couldn't do that joke.
We lose a great joke.
We lose a great joke.
That's
That
a tough
would,
one.
wouldn't that be funny to wander through history and be like, leave. Don't go to the
It would be
theater.
so cool to do. I mean, if we don't think about what it would cause, it would be really fun to just
Amelia
go and do that.
Earhart, don't get on that plane.
Yeah.
Don't get
Just
on
go like.
Just don't.
What do
Just-
women think about Amelia Earhart? Do they
what
think
women think?
all
We
of
got
them.
together last week. We like
you
her.
know more women than me?
I don't know. I don't think people think of Amelia Earhart that much.
We think
I
about
they
her
probably
a
think
lot.
she's really interesting.
Eugene thinks about it all the
Yeah,
time.
Do you?
I
This is
think about
She's
her.
amazing.
Amelia Earhart is
Yeah.
Eugene's Roman
I
Empire.
think she's a little more complex than people, you know, they have this vision of her, but actually she had a lot of some not so great things about her. I mean, she was complex. She was very complex.
She was a human being.
She was a
What
human
would
being.
you? Where would you go in time?
Shoo, I would go hang out with David Chase when he was still thinking about making
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Sopranos. I would just be his friend. I would just
okay.
contribute because I love The Sopranos so much. I even watched how they were doing the casting and who would have gotten which role before which role. And he was at the precipice of making some of the best
My
television.
son loves The Sopranos.
I love The Sopranos.
Yeah.
You don't worry that you would throw it off by being there, knowing what it's going to be.
What do I care? It's me time traveling here. Now I must care about everyone's feelings here.
But then there's no Sopranos, is what I'm saying.
It's
So
like
you don't
that-
care
There will
about.
be The Sopranos.
It's like Back to the Future.
Yes.
Here you go, Biff. Or no, or whatever.
Because every time after I land in LaGuardia, I go. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, you do, and then that's why immigration always pulls him aside.
Every now and then I go back in time and I'd say yes to those job offers at tech companies. Like
Why? Yeah, why
I
did you
don't
never get into
know.
tech?
There were so many of them. So it
You would
must
go
have been-
back?
I might
say
be
yes?
because then I would have billions of dollars right now,
Oh,
and then
free
I would
wine.
be able to be like, really,
But getting France drunk.
like you know,
No, but actually, let's talk a little bit about that. It's
I
like
might.
you were in tech
yeah,
when tech was still like it was really
small.
the wild west.
Yeah, no, I was offered a job at AOL in the early days. I was offered a job at Facebook in the very early days, at Google in the very early days, and Amazon in the very early days.
Do you know how many billions you've just told
That's
us?
correct. And I kind of would be like, interesting. Like it would be a different world. Like I would have used it politically for sure.
But let's
Like,
pretend we're 10 years from now and we're going back in time. Which decisions would you make now to get us wealthy?
to get us wealthy.
Yeah. What
probably-
would we buy now?
See, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to fuck up again. But I'd probably do something in AI in an area I knew about. Like what it'll be hard. It'll be hard to know which one's going to win, though, right? You never know which one's going to win.
Yes, we don't know until it
there were
happens.
7 or 8 Googles before there was Google, right? There was Excite. There was a bunch of them that were all search engines. They just didn't work. I'm blanking on all the names. I covered them all, but there were a lot like Google before there was Google.
I'm still.
There was
trying to
MySpace
understand,
before there
though.
was Facebook. There was MySpace,
Yeah, but
and
but
before that there was another one, and I'm blanking on that name. But there was a bunch of them.
Yeah, but I want to know why. Like, you love tech,
Right?
you still love tech, and you kept saying. Do you know why you said
Saying-
no?
Well, at one point, I think it was Ted Leonsis, who he's now a billionaire, and he owns a bunch of teams and stuff. And he used to send me the amount of money I would have had I taken his job.
Damn.
I'm like
trolling
his
of you.
favorite
Damn.
trolling. But he doesn't do that so much anymore. But I think at one point I said to one of them, I think it might have been at Amazon, they wanted an editor job. They had an editor job free. And I said, why would I want to do that? I work for the Washington Post, something like that. I think I liked what I did. And at some point.
Where was this job?
That was an Amazon job, I think.
That is crazy irony.
One of the
what a loop. Why would I want this job at Amazon? I work at the Washington Post, and then Amazon goes and buys the Washington Post.
Jeff does.
It's almost like Jeff Bezos heard that.
I could have bought the one. I still could.
And then all you hear is doom, doom.
I think I was just. I think there is a point where there is a number where more money doesn't matter. It really does. It doesn't make you any happier, right? Unless you want to buy France and buy everybody a glass of wine, and then you do need that money. But there is actually, and there's study after study about this. There's a number where people
you've also seen it though.
Yes.
Like you've been on the inside seeing these people become some of the richest men in the world and still be very unhappy.
I would have to say, on my hand, I can count the people who are happy, who I consider.
Really?
Mark Cuban would be one of them. That are really truly happy.
What do you find the other people show you that you deem unhappy? What is it? What is it that
they're deeply insecure? They are constantly aggrieved. There's a lot of aggrievement among the wealthy people. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Zuckerberg to me is the worst. Like, everyone's always attacking me. I'm like, Trump is the same way. He's always he's under siege. Live like that. That's like a terrible way to live. Very few are, I would say, really happy people in a lot of ways. And the people that stop sort of being so ultra competitive and demented are happier people, right? I suspect Bill Gates is a happier person now after he did all the philanthropy than before.
I like this. You when I met you there, you looked like the kind of person who always chooses passion and happiness.
Yeah.
So when you were young, who did you look at and go, I love being happy?
I don't have any heroes. No, my dad died when I was young, and my mom's kind of complex. But I would say I just like doing what I like to do. Yeah. I know it sounds dumb, but when I think about every time I have been successful, I do things that please me. Right? I think I like doing this. And I was very formed by a Steve Jobs speech that he gave at Stanford, which I recommend to everybody. He was sick, and then he was well for a little bit, and then for quite a few years. And then he got sick again. And one of the things I think about was he was critical to inventing the most important things when he was sick. He really was. If you think, the iPhone, the AirPod, iPod, everything like that. And one of the things, he gave this speech at Stanford that I read and I listen to all the time. And it basically says, remembering you're going to die someday is the single greatest motivator for me. When I'm doing things day after day that I don't like, I know I have to stop, right? Yeah. And I think it really resonated with me. When my dad died, I was like, you know what? He was 34 years old. He just got out of the Navy. He just started to make money, and he died. Just like that. Now, he didn't know. He didn't, obviously, he had 3 kids. He was beginning his life, his life, it's fine. And he came from not a rich family. He worked his way up by going in the Navy and everything else. And I think about that. I'm like, is this the way I want to, and Jobs talked about this, is this the way I want to spend my day? Like with that. And so when I remember when I was like offered, I think it was one of the Facebook people, it was Owen Van Atta, who said, come to Facebook. And I was like, and I happen to like him, but I was like, I don't want to be with you people all day. Like, I just don't want to, I don't want to be here. Wow. And I think that was what it is. And so everything I do now, I stop doing things when I don't want to be there anymore. And it's very easy. Same thing with having kids when I was older. I was much older. I was like, yes, I would like some kids. I'm going to do that. And so I think and I have the choice. I have the luxury of choice that other people don't. And that's the other thing. Other people don't have a choice. And to be whiny and bitchy about things when you have all these choices seems...
Yeah, but I often think the great responsibility that everybody has is knowing when they have the choice. Because I think a lot of people in life don't have the choice. Mm-hmm. And you'll be surprised at how many people do have the choice, but then still live like they don't have the choice.
They don't.
And if you don't know that you have the choice and you're living like you don't have it, I almost go, you've sort of done yourself a disservice because you have the thing that most people don't have, and you're not using it.
And I think that's sort of where we are in a society, especially with women. And it's interesting because a lot of women come to me now. A lot of media people come to me for advice. So like, how did you do it? I want to do it, and I like that they want to do it. And sometimes I'm like, maybe not you, but sometimes, well, you can tell who's entrepreneurial and who's not, right? Mm-hmm. And often I'll never forget. This one woman came to me and she said, She was an executive, always number 2. Often women are number 2 in a lot of these companies, or 3 or something, but never 1, right? Men are very easy to step up to 1, very easy. And you notice that, it's very clear. And she's like, she goes, I want your advice. What should I do? And I said, well, what do you want to do? That's what I said. What do you want to do? And she said, well, I've been offered this, this, and this. And I said, And she goes, and I'm thinking this. I go, I didn't ask you what you were offered. I asked you what you want to do. You didn't hear me, what I said to you. She goes, what's the difference? I go, oh, it's a huge difference. Offered is like, this man wants to marry me. This man wants to marry this. That's what you got offered. That's not who you want to marry. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And I said, the metaphor to me is a restaurant. You go in and they have chicken, pork, and lamb, and you want duck. Ask for the fucking duck. And she was like, well, what if they don't have duck? I said, they have duck. It's back there. And she goes, what if they don't have duck? I said, they have fucking duck. And she goes, what if they don't have duck? I said, then leave the restaurant and go find the duck restaurant. Like, I don't know what to tell you. If you want duck, have fucking duck. And she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I am a genius. I was like, I said, I am giving you this pearl of fucking wisdom. I was like, order the duck. Just do it. Like, don't have the chicken if you don't want the chicken. Like, you have the ability to choose. And most people in this world, I have to say, are stuck in places they don't, like, whether you're in Syria, whether you're a woman in, Sudan, like, you don't have a choice, or you're poor, or you're in deep poverty without education. Even in this country, like, people don't have choices that other people have. And to be, that's why it drives me crazy with the Democrats. Like, what do we do? I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? Lots of things. Let's start with the thing instead of just wallowing in, oh no, autocracy. Really? That has to be the choice? No, it doesn't.
Don't press anything. We've got more What Now after this.
You know what you're saying reminds me of a conversation we had with one of our friends in an episode here, who said, when you asked him, why are you always so happy, Joe? Then he says, I'm #winning because do you know where I come from? He says, in Uganda, all of this is not here. No. So I get to enjoy all of this. Right. And I have no time to bitch and moan and complain when other people are feeling a little bit inconvenienced. And I think of you and how you speak of your father.
Fucking Amin, like, come on.
You, right?
Right? Come on.
And how you speak of your father.
Guy.
And
is he alive?
And I'm like,
He's long gone now,
He's dead?
I think he's gone. Long.
Yeah. You never know with these dictators.
I think either the gout got him.
They do last forever.
I think the story that you mentioned about your dad, I stopped myself from being choked up a little bit because I lost my dad 2 years ago.
You're going to weep.
Is it?
Documentary.
Is it being made?
In March, yeah.
I lost my dad 2 years ago, and there were so many occasions that I could have gone and spent time with him. Because I've told Trevor the story before. He was an alcoholic, so he was really struggling.
So it was hard for you too.
So I never knew which guy I'm gonna get when I go meet him. But when he passed away, I felt a certain loss, and I thought maybe if I don't go to the funeral, I will never feel like he's really, really gone. Right. And as time went on, I really, really feel like he's gone, and it influenced what I think of alcohol. I'm not really a big fan of alcohol, and I try to be as present as possible. And I looked at your family pictures today, and it spurred on that thing that I told you, that I think this is one thing that I would like to try, because I'd never seen a working version of it. I've attempted it, didn't work. But I think with hindsight, you get to have a bit of, experience in it without actually living it. So I understand completely when you say you don't have time to, do something that you don't
Nobody has time. And I think that's by the way, this thing I'm working on is about longevity and the health span versus lifespan and how to have a better, longer, healthier life. Because we spent 90% of our medical money in the last 10 years, and it's all horrible. Even in the best of circumstances, it's horrible. And so why are we spending 90% here and not over here? Like, why are we living in a six? I'm not a Maha person, trust me. I think they're crazy. But why are we spending all this time in the sick place and spending all our money and resources when there's all these incredible breakthroughs that we could end obesity and like cancer and this stuff, and we spend all our time in the worst possible situation at the end of our lives, which I think is terrible. Like, barring accidents, barring things that you
Natural
can't
causes.
avoid, right? Earthquakes, whatever it happens to be. And so it's really, I think about that all the time. And whenever I was at this event this morning and these young people came, because I thought it was pretty good on stage. And all these young people came up to me and said, that was so incredible. And they said, can you give us a piece of advice? I go, you'll be dead in 100 years. Goodbye. They were like, and I'm like, think about it. And then make your choice. Make your choice. You'll be actually dead in 100 years.
What is the film going to be? I'm interested.
You'll have to wait and see. I'm not supposed to talk about it. It's embargoed. I hate embargo. It's for CNN. Fine, whatever. But it's actually going to be a podcast and an event and a book. So I really think people have to think about our time here. I don't know. I do. I think about it all.
I think about it all the time.
It's not an obsessed thing. There's a great app called WeCroak.
Okay.
It's such a good app.
Croak?
Yeah.
We croak eventually.
We croak. It's called We Croak. It's a little frog too, which is the little thing.
That's right.
And let me read this to you. It's really interesting. So it's my favorite app that I have. It's right on the front. And it's about We Croak, 5 quotes a day. In Bhutan, they say contemplating death 5 times a day brings happiness, right? And then they have the 5 quotes. And this one is from Jimi Hendrix. I'm the one that has to die when it's time for me to die, so let me live my life the way I want to, Jimi Hendrix. I just read that. I'm like, good point, Jimi Hendrix. And so I read them, and then I'm like, okay. And then it makes you do things.
When I was in Bhutan and we were doing that.
Oh, you're in Bhutan.
I didn't, at the time, at first I was just like, this is really not a vibe. And then you get into it and you're like, oh yeah, it's the embracing of the impermanence.
That's right. Right.
You know? And what it does, funny enough, is I remember going on a guided tour in Paris with a fantastic tour guide. I always shout him out, Jean-Manuel. If you're ever in Paris, look him up. And he gave this tour. And one of the main things that I learned from that tour was there are 2 different kinds of people who get to shape the future. There are people who shape the future knowing that they will not be a part of it. But they know what they wish they would have gotten to be a part of. And then there are people who shape the future as if they will always be there.
That's right.
And the latter is oftentimes the worst person to shape the future because they don't know that they'll have to let it go. And when I think about some of these tech guys that you're talking about.
For this series, because I was at endless dinner parties where they talked about living forever.
Yeah, they love
putting
it.
their brain
No, they love it.
in another thing. And I was like, for what?
Yeah, they love it.
Cryogenics.
But I honestly believe.
There's more stuff going on. But that was the original. Cryogenics was, of course, the idea that you can preserve your brain. And by the way, we're moving into areas that's some of this, you stop Xi and Putin talking about doing organ transplant.
Living forever.
So their impetus is so narcissistic, and it's not about making better lives for people on this planet and extending life. One guy I interviewed for this thing he wrote a fictional book called Elixir, and I'm blanking on his name, but he was terrific. So what if you were the premise of this book is pretty simple. There's a pill you can take that for every year of your life, for every 5 years of your life, it only ages you 1 year. So you can be 100 and look 20, right? Would you take it? One. And then he starts to contemplate the impact on society. Well, young people would be up in arms because all the old people would stay young longer and never get out of the fucking way, right? That's one, which they don't do now, as aged as they are in Congress. And then 2, what if the person who made it would become the real first trillionaire of the thing? Who would control that? Should it be an individual who's selling it to you? And what if it was expensive enough that only wealthy people could take it? It was it's a great idea, this elixir. And the idea of elixir has been with us forever. There's a fountain of youth, elixir. There's always been that theme. And so would you take it? What if you took it and your kids didn't want to? They'd get older than you. I mean, it's so mind-fucking, right? It's so interesting to think about. And a lot of these tech people whether it's Larry Ellison, who's now become the world's richest man today. He's just surpassed Elon.
Wow.
Also Elon, Sam Altman, they're all investing in longevity stuff because, and in some cases, it's an interesting thing. Sam Altman stuff is about health span extension, so you don't waste your time. I'm down with that. Yeah. Others are like, how can I live longer than what can I do to stop telomeres and sentient cells and all this stuff? Other people like are funding people like Jennifer Doudna with CRISPR, which will remove, for example, sickle cell anemia. able to solve it now. It's just expensive to do so because it's a single gene that you remove via CRISPR.
You just edit that gene out.
Most diseases are multi-gene, and so it's much harder. But it costs $2 million every time they do this.
Wow.
Too expensive. But they can eradicate it now, they're largely eradicated, or for the most part. And so the question is, who gets to have it and when? And is there a way to do it that's democratic and not as usual for the world's richest people? They are all approaching it as if I should not die because I am this unique individual.
Yeah.
What if you approached it like you are going to make the world better for all these people, like everybody, that people don't have to die of obesity. They don't have to die of heart disease. They don't have to of many, many, many cancers. It just goes away. It's a really interesting idea. And so I want to get rid of all the charlatans, of which there are so many, and narcissistic charlatans. And then let's look at what really is working, which is, it's an amazing field, and remove it. And so again, the same thing. It's a love story in the benefits of technology, and it's also a nightmare if it goes another direction. Would you take that pill?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No. I've thought about this a lot, and I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
So the reason I wouldn't take it is because I think one of the greatest lessons I've learned in life is that the value of things is often most appreciated in their scarcity.
Absolutely.
So I've seen this through my friends who have children.
Startups
I've
too.
watched them appreciate time differently. You know me. I've never said the phrase "time flies." I've never felt like time flies, ever. But every single friend of mine who is a parent will go, I mean, you look up and you're like, where did the time go?
Yeah.
And I see them yearn for the time, but they never cared for it in the same way before.
Right. That's right.
And I think we take that for granted. We don't understand, and that's where some people have hacked us, like food companies and stuff. But like, there is something magical about the last chip in a bag. There really is.
Yeah.
But when there's infinite chips, it
You
doesn't.
don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same anything. There's something to a
the
moment.
plot of
ending.
Highlander.
Exactly.
Or all the vampire movies.
Exactly.
Which I also love a vampire movie.
There's just something that you lose. And I think there's a stage in life that you don't get to experience that's beautiful. Like you start slow, you speed up, and then you get slow again. And I think there's something beautiful in that loop.
What if you could take your brain and put it in another robot or a cyborg or something like that? And so that's going to happen.
So here's what I will say to that. I find it particularly interesting that a lot of these people who are doing this will say they have the greatest imaginations, but then they don't imagine the possibility that there's something beyond what we're in now.
Right.
And not necessarily an afterlife,
right.
but just like, what if you just locked yourself in this forever? And
you don't get to get out.
You don't, even out or in. What if there's an in? What if there's another? I don't know what is there or isn't there.
That's a really good point.
But why would you limit yourself from possibly experiencing? Then you're like, oh, but what if you're just dead? Yeah, well, you won't know.
Well, because they don't believe there is. They don't believe there is something else.
And but I'm saying, why would you? That to me is when
shows lack of
ideas and
creativity.
imagination start to die.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things someone ever said, and I hope he sticks to this, was Jensen Huang, the NVIDIA CEO. I was talking to him about jobs and AI and, all these things that are going to happen. And I said to him, what do you think about all the companies who are firing people because they've got AI?
Yeah.
And he said to me, I think every single one of those companies should die. And I was like, whoa, wait, what? And he said, if you are using AI to get rid of employees, you're a company that's run out of ideas.
That's
and he said, because AI should enable you to do more of what you were trying to do, because now you can expand it infinitely.
You get rid of all the mundane tasks.
And
right?
NVIDIA has shown that. They were like, we make chips. Then they were like, maybe we could make software, and also maybe we could make robots, and maybe we could make warehouses, and maybe we could make cars, and maybe we could make and you go like, oh, he's living that ethos. Do you know what I mean? There's no mass layoffs. There's no
today. Let me just
No, but that's what I'm saying to you. I hope he sticks to this.
Yeah.
And whether he does or doesn't, I do believe the message is correct.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, why is what you're using, we were just talking this on Pivot this week. It's like, why is what you're using AI for is to limit.
Exactly.
Right? Why is, and by the way, there are mundane tasks people shouldn't do.
Yes.
Like, when's the last time you look at a map? When's the last time you churn butter? When's the last time you could go through all kinds of technologies, and time saving is okay for a lot of those. And a lot of jobs are so rote, and machines do them better. And so what the challenge of our society is in the next few governments will be is, what do you do when things, like we had a drastic change. Farmers were on the original entrepreneurs. You get it, deciding what crops to pick, whatever to do with the weather. So much like such an entrepreneur to which plow to use.
Yeah.
What did you do? The innovative new plow? Or I always go look at old plows. I'm fascinated, and as they made the progression and how they eased time for people and backbreaking work. And one of the things that's interesting is what part of that do you, when we went from farming to not farming, it was the right decision, right? Because that was artisanal and done in a small way. So what is that right now? And then what can we do to help people transition to the better job, right? Or what is the better job? Like, I think a lot about self-driving. I love EV. I love like Waymo. I've been in it since
They're really
the
fun.
beginning. I was in the original one. The
They're
one
really
when
fun.
they first invented
You went like
it.
the
This was 10, 12 years ago when Google had it in the parking lot. I ran over there. I'm like, put me in this fucking thing and let me see who I can run over, because I wanted to see how good you guys are. I made
no, you can't get in the car. But we do have shrimp.
The guy who started it now runs a company called Aurora, which is a self-driving, which is an autonomous trucking company. He's great. He's a great entrepreneur. But I made him stand in front of it. I'm like, let's see if you're up to what you just invented. And he did it. He stood in front of it, and his car stopped. Oh well. But I kept going, go, go, go. So anyway, so I love them, and I know people will be put out of jobs. I do. But I'm thinking, for example, trucking is such a dangerous profession for people. It's not a good profession. It's not good for your family. It's not everything. I know there's a romanticism around trucking, but it shouldn't be done by people. It really shouldn't. Coal mining shouldn't be done by people, like things like that. And so, okay, you have the autonomous trucks, and a lot of our nations is pretty flat. And so they're not going to get in accidents. They get in fewer. The problem is people, not the trucks.
Yeah, the people are the anomaly.
The anomaly,
on the road.
right, exactly. And the trucks, once one truck makes a mistake, all the trucks learn. When one person makes a mistake, nobody learns, right? That's how it goes. Unless we have to figure something out to get people, the matrix, and the chip in their head. So what was interesting to me is, I was like, okay, let's talk about the jobs thing. He goes, here's the thing I'm thinking, because he happens to be a very thoughtful entrepreneur, this guy. He's like, right now, long-haul trucking is really dangerous. It's bad for people physically. It's dangerous. What if all these autonomous trucks went to the edges of cities, and that's the only place they don't go into cities anymore. And by the way, it solves a problem. And then you get smaller trucks driven by people that bring it into the cities.
Oh, nice.
Of course, the idea of putting them under cities is actually a great idea. Or all the people that are running the fleet, who's monitoring the fleet and where it goes. But you create a situation where the truckers then live near where they work rather than drive. And I was like, thank you. You just thought of really, I don't know if that's going to work, but you could sit there and start to think, okay, if the people of Google aren't coding anymore, or if people vibe code, you know what vibe coding is, right? If people
vibe coding, Eugene, is...
Do you know what vibe coding is?
No, do you know? I'm assuming you don't. That's what I'm saying.
I just figured out today I can rotate my...
Okay, so vibe coding is... the original coding was you had to know the language that a computer speaks.
Right.
And there were multiple different languages, Java, C++, coding languages. And then vibe coding now is you using an AI to basically code on your behalf, and you're saying what you want the code to be and what you want the program to do.
Find me a wife, and this is my criteria. And not just criteria, it's the prompt. Prompt is the big word now.
Okay.
Everything is a prompt. What is the prompt? And everything will be created by it's a question.
Yes.
Answers are, things progress because of questions in this world. And so you're like, I want an app that will make me find a wife, and here are my criteria, and here's where I want you to search, and it will make you the app. It will just happen.
So it's vibes.
Right. It's like on Star Trek when you said, I would like a turkey sandwich, and then it just appeared, that kind of stuff.
But you see that, when you go back to the world of vibe coding and what we look for as a future, I think what makes this business person thoughtful for me is, I don't know them, but I think they understand the nature of work. And I think this is what most people in business have forgotten.
And the significance of it as
They forget that a company is a fake thing. They forget that Wall Street is a fake thing. All of these things are imagined, is what I mean. To use the correct word, it's more imagined. It's more imagined, okay? The purpose of it is to give people something to do to move value around, however we assign it, whether it's time or a currency or a product, whatever it is. But that's what generally keeps societies moving and happy and flowing. But once you stop them, once you create a dam, that's when things die. You know what I mean? That's when the sand builds up. That's when, but that's exactly it. And I think they don't realize this. It's funny you talk about the truck thing. I remember talking to somebody who was also in autonomous trucking, and I said, what if there's a bridge? You think trucks should be autonomous. There are many people who drive trucks for a living who are going to lose their jobs, right?
Actually, we don't have enough truck drivers, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I was like, there are many people who will. But I said, what if you found a bridge in between where the person could drive the truck from home?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have an autonomous truck.
And they're there.
But it's guided by a truck driver at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different driving a truck. And then I saw the other day, my youngest brother sent me a video of this. There's some people now who work in like quarries and stuff.
Mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
but
they're
it's
not
like
there.
They're at home and they're using like the excavator.
So the human element is important in decision making, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with drones. It's the same thing with, like, at some point there will be drones that will operate on their own, like autonomously,
of course,
and make autonomous decisions. Same thing with sentencing, justice. I mean, that's what's interesting. Like every single industry will be affected. The thing about AI is everything, because what it does is you had Google where you went and put in the thing in the box and then it brought you the answer, but it didn't really bring you the answer. It brought you lots of answers to find. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, here's a pile of library books. Good luck. That's what Google is. Like, oh God, there's 10 books here. Where is the answer in these 10 books? Well, it could be here. It sort of gave you a suggestion. Maybe look at this one first.
You're feeling lucky.
Yeah, I'm feeling lucky.
That was my favorite
yeah.
thing on a Google page.
It was.
I'm feeling lucky.
Well, do you?
They often had the right answer.
Yeah, but I was just like, what a crazy button to... I'm feeling lucky.
Yeah, they were a funny gang back then, let me tell you.
Wasn't that Dirty Harry?
No, they were a weird group of people then, I have to say, and they remain this today, to this very day. But one of the things that's interesting about that idea is with AI is it actually, and I know hallucinations, blah, blah, it will get it right. Like the original internet, if you recall, was quite ugly and stupid and didn't work. AI will get it right at some point because it will learn and figure out. It could provide you with things. It could really give you great answers and cut the time it requires you to get it and get rid of things that were lots of steps along the way, like making butter.
Yeah.
Like, or whatever. There's a better way to do it. And so I think we have to approach it like it's a better way to do it. And now what can people do? What's the human element in deciding these? And I think what I get really worried about is people who really not resist it. I was with a bunch of journalists, or the most risk-averse people on the planet. I was with a group of people, and I was talking about AI coming up with headlines, right? Just for writing headlines.
Yeah.
They're very good at it. They can spit out 100 headlines in 5 seconds, and it takes some creaky old guy to come up with 2 terrible ideas in 3 hours, right? Well, we got to keep him in the job. I'm like, but he's bad at it. Like, why is he doing that
While
job?
taking smoke breaks
yeah, right. And they were like, we can't have people do that. I said, but it's headlines. Like, why? Why do people have to do that? Well, because people have to decide. I said, well, then spit out 100 headlines, and then a person picks the one. But let the person have the final decision making.
The person doesn't have to be out of the loop.
That's right,
but the person also doesn't have to be doing the grunt labor.
Right. Like, why not? And by the way, AI comes up with, I would say, 79 bad ideas. But 21 are pretty fucking good. Like they are. Like I have to say, you're like, not bad.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, that's this group of people are like, that's terrible. I'm like, why are you, the hill you're dying on is headlines when I'm telling you need to focus on making products that people want and figure out what the creativity part is. Headlines are not the it's the grunt work. It's the input work. It's the stuff that computers should do, right? Why are people inputting? Why? I don't even understand it. And it's really interesting. The resistance is, in media, as you know, I mean, what's happening now at your old play. Well, that's another story. I'd like to get into that. I'm happy to, but what in the actual fuck? God. Yeah. Anyway. But like, for example, I was just with the person who's running MS Now, which I don't particularly like the name, but whatever.
Yeah,
I don't really care what they call it. They can call it Phyllis. I don't really care. But as long as it's good.
Phyllis is a great name for a network.
I know, right? It doesn't matter. If it's good, it's good.
Did you see what happened on Phyllis?
Phyllis, yeah.
I like that, actually.
Barbara.
Are Are you the guy from Phyllis?
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. Did I see you on Phyllis the other day? I actually like that.
Or Barbara.
Barbara's
another
a
name
nice
that
one.
isn't Barbara.
But Phyllis is really,
Phyllis,
that's
right,
like a cool.
It is a cool
I can't
name.
hear the word
This
Phyllis
is
without thinking
Phyllis.
about
Phyllis Diller? What?
syphilis.
Syphilis. Oh, good.
Oh,
Okay,
damn.
wow. You went there.
Is that the full? Wow, Eugene. Huh.
Syphilis?
As you were.
No, please, Kara.
So so one of the things I was talking, it's called Versant, which I'm like also causes rash in your, causes vaginal rash. Also solves your vaginal rash problem. So, and this executive was like, that's not funny. I go, no, that's funny. That's funny. Come on, the name Versant. You walked right into it by calling the stupid thing Versant. So anyways, that AI came up with that name. And so half the people there, it's really interesting, are like, oh no. And I was like, no, this is a golden fucking opportunity. Be creative and make things people want. And if you don't, you get to leave. Like if you can't. And to me, the people I really like are the ones that are like, okay, we're now freed of all this other shit. Now we can make cool stuff. Same thing, at so many of these places, they now have the opportunity. I have a rule when I make companies. Everything I've made has been pretty successful, very successful actually. And someone was like, what's your secret sauce for making things? And I go, I make things people want and I sell them. And they're like, what? And I said, and I asked myself this one question when I'm making something and it's whether I know it's right or not. Did anyone ever ask for this? Like a lot of people a lot of corporations make. Did anyone ever ask? Like Washington Post did. Let's let sources make comments in the stories that our reporters write. And they think it's brilliant, this one
But did anyone ever ask for that?
Did anyone ever I said, did anyone ever fucking ask for this? They're like, no, but it's cool. I'm like, but it's not. I'm like, who wants that? Like, who? Except the sources who get to like clap back at the reporters.
Yeah.
So they wanted it, but does that make you more money? Like,
Does it even make the product better?
Right. Does it make the
Does it
product
serve
better?
your reader more?
Right,
Does it inform them? Does it create? Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so often they don't think about what people want. And that's what I think about that all the time. So I think they'll do great if they make things people want and they keep the costs in line. Doesn't seem
This
very
has been
hard.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love this.
Do you miss TV? I'm curious.
Do I miss TV?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever liked TV.
Oh, really? Interesting.
No, like
you like
thing,
live.
No, but what I mean is this, is like, I hope I'm not getting too didactic with this answer, but it's like.
Please do.
So even like, let's say podcast, I always laugh at that. I go, okay, what does that mean? If there's a camera, then is it a podcast? Is it not?
It's a vlogcast.
Yeah, people love giving things names. It's a TV movie. It's a movie.
Right.
No, it's a TV movie. It's a movie. You're just watching it on TV.
Yeah.
All of these things.
Probably
so
your
for me, what I genuinely, the thing that I miss, the only thing that I miss is engaging with the human beings that I engaged with.
Got it.
So I loved working on problems and ideas with a team. I loved the jokes that we would tell each other in the writer's room. I loved the meetings that we would have. I loved meeting with the audience and having them ask questions. That's all that I miss genuinely. And my friends, I think, can account for this. If you told me that none of that actually ended up on TV and I was just like being scammed, I would go like, man, I still had a great time.
Yeah.
And that's how I think of it for my life, is I go, I wish to be partaking in the activity
of creativity
with the people that I love.
Right.
And then I'll enjoy that and I'll come out on the other side with an experience. But the actual TV side of it.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter either. That's the thing a lot of people in media don't get. I used to say, like, one of the things they were always like, oh, if this goes and that's what I was like, no, if you make great stuff, it'll sell every single fucking time.
It just
and I think they get stuck into the system more than anything.
Yeah.
Rather than what they're actually making. And so process always takes over. And one of the things that I've just recently started doing a series of podcasts of media that works. I'm so sick of the doom scrolling and media. All I talk to is people who are, and some of them work, like the woman who's running Wired. She's kicking ass because she's making great stuff. She decided to double down on Doge. She has really interesting stories. She's part of a corporation. I'm not just doing entrepreneurs. Her subscriptions are up like 100%. Why? Because she's making things people want. So I interviewed her, Oliver Darcy, who does media writing. He left CNN to do it. I interviewed him. There's a guy at the Post that I helped figure out how to leave, who does videos on TikTok. Like, all kinds of people are approaching it from different ways. And so and using technology to do so. And I think it's really important to keep at heart all that's important is what you're making. Like, what's the thing you're saying or doing or writing, or what's the story you're telling?
Yeah.
That doesn't change. And technology doesn't make it any better. Like, doesn't. It just doesn't. People do. 100%. No question.
I love this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
I hope
This
we
has
see you
been
again.
fun. Yes.
Come and join us
anytime.
again.
His wedding, obviously.
Ah,
When you fix him up.
walking down the aisle.
Get-
Here comes Eugene Khoza.
Well, you need a
Woke up this morning.
Oh, no. You need a Sopranos fan, obviously. That should be a top on
Or even
your
better,
list.
you need somebody who's never watched The Sopranos, because that'll be the greatest joy.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than
No, that
introducing
can't
somebody.
happen.
No,
What
introducing
if they
someone
don't like it? What if
No,
they don't
they
like it?
can't not like it.
What if they don't?
But that's how you'll know that they
said it
love
well.
you. No, that's how I mean it. Honestly, is that's where I feel like you'll explore something. They'll be like through your eyes. Why do you love it so much?
Yeah.
Or
I
they'll
don't
hate it,
know.
and you'll still be a great couple.
Actually, you can get along. Like, my wife is like, I'd love to live in Brooklyn. I said, I'd rather poke my eye with a dry stick.
Huh? The whole entire eye.
The entire eye.
Like, totally.
If I have to go in a co-op, I'll kill myself. I'm like, give me the $4 apple and leave me the. I don't want to talk. I don't want to work for it. I would like, but I'm not a Burning Man gal. So, do you go to Burning Man?
No, I've never been. I want to go though,
Why?
because I want to experience everything in
dirty.
life. It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
I've been in dirty before.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah?
You know why?
No, I have been in dirty before.
Tell us more.
I've even told you this. Is like I want to experience.
You see what's happening now?
Yeah.
What?
He's
You seem very
co-opting me
clean
now
to
into
me.
How am
his
I
dirty.
co-opting you?
He's like, I told you about my dirty.
Okay,
dirty.
but what? No, what?
I'm so
What
glad
is
you could
dirty?
learn more about each other.
What is
This
dirty?
This is me
No,
all the
okay.
time.
What is the dirtiest thing about Burning Man? Dirt? Like the
Yes.
actual dirt?
Actual dirt.
Kara, have you been to
People with no
Hamanskral? Have you been to Hamanskral?
No, what is that?
Exactly, Kara.
Is this your country again? Is this your country?
No, like what I mean is like the thing
win.
that the thing.
You
Yeah,
win.
thank you, Eugene.
You win.
The thing that people
Yes.
I loved going to the homelands, and like when someone goes Burning Man, I'm like, this is not. I
Oh,
wanna
that's true. You're true. It's kind of a
experience
wimp thing.
Yeah.
Here's why I can't go to Burning Man. Because
Yes.
a lot of tech guys go there. They're going to slip me like
Oh.
ayahuasca, and then I'm going to end up in some trailer in Reno,
You've never
married
done
to a
ayahuasca?
man. Like, something will
married.
happen.
I like that the end of the bad story was married to a man.
I will end up. There will be
weird ayahuasca trip.
pictures. There will be pictures. They will. I will not. I do not. When I go to these companies now, I'm like this. I'm like, don't touch.
Just
me.
cover everything.
Cover everything.
No, man. I would.
You know,
I,
they do that with presidents. When
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
interviewing Obama, they put a thing on the.
yeah, no, they don't.
And
even,
I went to touch it, and the Secret Service lost their fucking mind.
They wouldn't even when you interview
Yeah.
like presidents and that
Yeah,
they
they
don't even
cover.
let you have the water. They don't.
No
they
way.
bring,
No.
yeah, no, they bring everything
cover
with
the
them.
water.
They. Yeah.
Of course, what's the first thing I did? It was like,
Can I tell you one of
you did.
Can I
Yes,
tell you
please.
one of the funniest moments I ever had like that was
Yeah.
it was Gayle King this is like early when I was like just in the US
Mm-hmm.
hosting the Daily Show. Gayle King invited me to the Kennedy Center honors.
yeah, they're fun. They're fun. I covered them as a young reporter.
Yeah, but in Obama's box.
What?
You see? Now you're with me.
Gail. She's always up to things. That Gail.
I remember
I like
I
Gayle.
remember going, wait, she was like, Trevor, come with me. And you know how Gail, she's like, Trevor, you're
I don't
going to
know how
love
she
it.
is.
And
How
She's
is
like
she?
that.
So she's
She's
like,
that.
hey, do you know Gail from TV?
Yes.
Then you know
She's
Gail.
exactly right.
Gail
That's
is the most person.
Gail
of,
person.
Is the
Yeah.
most Gail.
She's the most
Gail
Gail
is
person
like
you've ever
Gail.
met.
Gail
Gail
is
is like
like
Gail.
Gail.
So Gail, she was like, Trevor, you got to come. Kennedy. I was like, okay. We get there. We don't go to the main section. We go into President Barack Obama's box.
Mm-hmm.
Walk in, there he is, Secret Service. Oh, Trevor, you coming to watch the show? Oh, we're going to have a good time. Good time. It's going to be good. You ever been here
Nice.
before?
Well done.
So
Well
we're in
done.
there. We sit down, and then the show starts, and I'm sitting right behind him. And the Secret Service is like way back there. And I'm, to your point of like the glass, I'm like staring at his head, and I was looking at like the just
Yeah,
like
of course.
the hairs on
First
the back
thing
of
I
his
look-
head and
Yeah.
and I was just like, when was the last time somebody like hit his head?
That's how William Booth became who he was.
No, let me explain.
John Wilkes.
No,
Booth.
I was-
John Wilkes. Booth.
John Wilkes Booth.
No, but let me explain.
So you thought about hitting his head?
No,
didn't
I did
you?
not. I did not think about hitting his head.
Okay.
This is not the first time
You're
you
gonna
almost
get the
got killed by the
secret.
Secret
You're
Service.
gonna get the Secret Service coming. No,
Oh my
I just
Trevor,
thought to
no.
myself because I always I want this for
Why are you
people.
incriminating?
Yeah.
I've got a visa. I have to
Eugene,
I
wait.
can't wait to see where this is ending.
Eugene,
but go ahead.
I
Land
always,
the plane.
I love
there,
for
Trevor.
people to have human experiences, and
Yeah.
I've asked President Obama this in
Yeah.
person. I've gone, do you miss being called by your name?
Yeah.
Do you miss somebody not knowing you? He does share that he does miss many of those things.
Yeah.
He has dreams of being on a park bench. Like literally, that's his dream.
Well, not
And he's like,
anymore, never again.
yeah, but that's what I mean. He dreams of that. He's like, oh man,
Say it in his voice.
And when I was there, I was like,
Wilkes Booth.
I imagine.
Trevor Noah Wilkes
No, I imagine
Booth.
like, wow.
A second.
When was the last time in his life that somebody just went pap on Barack Obama's head?
Michelle probably does it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. But I just thought that would be so cool for him to be like, what? Like,
Yeah.
in that. But then I was like, how close is the Secret Service? Would they think I'm trying to kill him? Would
Yes,
they, would
they
they
would.
They
That's
would.
the problem.
They would.
So
They
I
would.
was unable to afford him
You
the
can't
experience.
touch him. I'm glad you didn't touch him.
I did not
Can I
touch
tell you a
him.
very brief Obama story?
Go. Yeah.
So we did a interview, and he was talking to digital people. That they decided, let's get some digital people. Some stupid marketing person or
Yes,
PR
yeah,
person's
yeah.
in a room. So I get one of the things, and the other one was, remember the woman with the green lips on MTV, and I'm blanking on her name. She had green lips, and she was an MTV VJ.
Oh, she was a VJ.
VJ,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So she gets an interview, I get an interview, but then they cut my interview by 10 minutes and give it to her. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to say, don't you know who I am? But you just cut my interview by 10 minutes. So that's hard when you have it planned out in your head, right? And everything. So
Because you planned the whole
I
thing.
planned the whole
out, but
thing.
you
And
had
I'm
to-
like, now
yeah.
I got to do something. So we sit down and the glass is there and I'm thinking of touching the glass, but then that'll take off another 5 minutes off because it'll be 5 minutes of moving the glass around. So he sits down, he's right knee with me, and I go, listen, they just cut 10 minutes off my interview. And here's the problem I have with you is you talk too much and you never have you talk in paragraphs. You never stop talking. I understand you've been president for 6 years. Everyone listens to you, but I'm going to interrupt you. And I'm sure you're not used to that because no one interrupts you. But I'm about to interrupt you a lot because they cut my fucking 10 minutes. So just be aware. You're maybe not used to it, but try to remember when people used to interrupt you. Okay? Great. And he looks at me, he goes, I heard you were obnoxious. And I go, I am. And we started the interview. The whole interview, he was so pithy. I totally mind fucked him to do it. So later, he completely fell for it. And so, and I was always, I got in an argument with him too, because you have to figure out what in an interview is the thing. And he does not like getting mad. And I kept trying to get him mad because he's resisting anger, right? Because he doesn't want to be angry black guy, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
of
know.
course. Yeah.
Whatever. I kept trying to get him mad. And so we do the interview. It was very testy, actually. It was a very testy interview because everyone sort of is not testy to him. And I was like, I'm going for testy. So months and months later, when he was leaving office, my ex-wife worked for him as the CTO. And when he ends his administration, it's such a lovely thing. You go into the Oval Office and meet him and you get a handshake and a picture. Everything from Susan Rice on down gets this.
Every single person.
It's lovely. It's a lovely tradition. So my ex-wife goes, hey, come with us. It'd be really nice to have the whole family there. The sons would love it. It would be really great. So we go, I go, I don't know. He doesn't like me very much. He does.
For good reason.
Yes. No, but he
I
does.
poked and prodded him until he lost his cool.
And so we walk into the Oval Office and he goes, how did you get in here? And I was like, so then it gets worse. So I was like, I didn't want to be here either. Trust me. I don't really want to spend time with you either. And so he goes, fine, we'll take the picture. And he knows everything about everybody. He must be given cards or little factoids. You know how they know, so he goes to my oldest son and he goes, Louis, I hear you're such a good cook. And if you open a restaurant someday, can you come? And Louis goes, yeah, sure, absolutely, Mr. President. I'll cook you a great meal. And my other son, who's a techie, and he goes, Alex, do you want to do when your company, would you let me invest in your company? And my son goes, maybe.
That's your boy.
And he goes, this is your son. I was like, yes, he is. Maybe. We'll see if we'll let you on the cap table. We're not sure if you're worthy. And I just look, we had a recent back and forth because I had said I thought he should step a little more and stop hanging out with celebrities and go say something because Trump was problematic. And I thought he hung back too much.
Yeah.
And so I got all this pushback because they're like, oh, why should he come in and do it? I'm like, because he's the most important Democrat in existence. And it's a compliment to him, which I don't tend to pay him. So I would say he's the one who has to stand up until they figure out who the next leader is. And I got a text from their office. They're like, we don't think he has to, he doesn't have to step up. I'm like, oh no, he has to step up. I don't care what you say.
I don't know. I think there's a paradox there. I talked about this with
For
like
the
a
moment.
friend. No. Here's what I think it is. I think damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? So if Obama continues to step in, there will never be somebody else who steps in, and then you sort of don't create. No, I genuinely believe this. I think like people will often say, and I've seen this happen when there was like the rallies, even when Biden was running, Kamala was running, all of these things. He would come out, and then people would be like, "Oh, why isn't it that guy?"
Yeah.
And you know where you're sort of not helping.
So he would end up cock blocking the next person.
That's what I mean.
I
you
think
are cock
right
blocking.
now we're under extenuating emergency circumstances.
Yeah, but I would argue in this moment in time, and I mean everyone will disagree or agree. I would argue in this moment in time, I don't know that he would have necessarily the best impact. I actually think, you know, like Star Trek, a new generation type thing. I think like the Zorons and the whatever. People are not going to be. If Obama was to step in now, I can very quickly see people turning around and going like, well, "How did you let this happen?" And all of a sudden, it becomes like this. Like,
maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
I think he should. I think he has so much gravitas, and it's an emergency situation, and he will help the transition. And it's a different media world now. Everyone's operating as if it's the same thing, and it's not this. It is indeed not the same.
It is
thing.
not the same thing for sure.
And so acting like the Democrats or peacetime, like
come on.
Stop it. Yeah. Like, stop, Chuck Schumer, turn off the social media cameras right now because you suck. But like what Zoran Mandami is doing, what Newsom is doing, that's what's required, which is muscular. And I don't mean that in a gender-specific way. It's like, it's muscular, it's aggressive, it's promiscuous, and it's constant from a thing. And it's a very different thing. And Obama has an incredible charisma and charm that will take it to the next thing that needs to be to counter. And he is the counter at this moment. And then he brings up people. Like, I don't know. Anyway, if you noticed, he's been saying a lot more lately.
He has now,
So I irritated him. A lot of us.
Rubbed him.
Like, I was like, don't you think? And, you know, I think he's, and I was like, I'm paying you a fucking compliment for once. So don't, like.
Oh,
anyway,
man.
Yeah.
This was fun,
You got Barack activated. Trevor almost hit him at the back of the head. I mean,
I know.
No, there was no almost.
I wasn't
Don't do
trying
that.
to physically
Don't
hurt
ever
him.
do that.
You thought about it.
No.
For a second.
thought about it?
I
You
thought about
touch.
You didn't
whether or not he had experience.
No, he did. You know what? He didn't think about hitting. He wanted to rub
Oh,
his hands
rub-
softly.
gently rub the back
I
of his
wondered
the back
when was the
like
last time
this.
he had a very human experience of somebody sitting behind you and just plop, doing
You
that on
should
your
have touched
head.
his ear. Or next time you see him, will you touch his ear for us?
I will not.
Or both of them at
Please.
the
I
same
will
time.
not
Oh,
because
remember-
I want my pictures and I do not want to be on enemy terms
You would
with
love
Barack
it.
Obama.
That's
Now, when
for
I
me.
walk in the room, he's going to be like, you.
Yeah.
Oh, you and Kara.
You know what I'm
How
going
did
to
you
do?
get in here?
You know what I'm
How did
gonna
you
do
get in
next
here,
time?
Trevor?
Next time I see him, I'm going to touch his ear. I'm going to ask because I'm a consent kind of girl. May I touch your ear?
I want no part of this.
I'm going to say it was your idea.
No part
gonna
of
totally
this.
say it was his
No
idea.
part of
That's what
He'll
I'm gonna
know
do.
it was not my idea.
No, I'll say no, it was. He'll tell you it
He
wasn't
will know
his idea.
for a
but
fact.
It was his idea.
He will know for
I'm
a
sorry.
fact.
It was his idea.
You know,
Remember
I'll
when he
put-
told us?
I'll put the doubt in his mind.
Let me
so
tell
he
you
won't
something.
know. Like,
Let me
that's
tell
a
you
very Trump
something.
thing to do.
If
Like,
there's one thing he will know is that it was not my idea.
no, it was.
He will
Remember
know.
when Trevor said he wants to hold both of his ears?
That's
That was
right.
totally
I'm
his
out.
idea. Remember that?
You stick
I'm
with me.
out. Thank you so much for watching the episode. If you enjoyed it, pass it on to a friend. If you didn't enjoy it, pass it on to your friend still. Let them suffer for a change. And don't forget to engage with us in the comments. If you want to suggest a guest, maybe there's questions you want, maybe there's ideas that you have, you can chat to us. We will read through the comments and we'll get into it. Either way, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you for hanging out with us on What Now? And remember, we do this for you, so we would like to hear from you. Till next time, thank you.